Morning, I am, and what a glorious day it is here at Emirates Old Trafford. A brilliant way to kick off the campaign on home turf. I know they went away to Surrey on Friday, but what a way to start at Emirates Old Trafford.
Yes, it was another hot day on Friday in London for that opening fixture, which Lancashire Thunder lost. So it's obviously a great chance to try and respond. I guess that as a player, that's what you want, isn't it? To try and have a game pretty quickly after a defeat. Yeah,
it's a way you can put the wrongs to right, and it was a good start. I think if they hadn't had the start of the season that they'd had and losing as many games in the Metro Bank Cup, they'd have found it a great game, but it just adds to the losing streak that they're on. So hopefully home turf, blue skies, Emirates Old Trafford, this is what will change the momentum.
Well, the Blaze have won the toss and they're going to have a bowl first. The two teams for you, they look like this. Lancashire Thunder with Darcy Carter and Eve Jones, Meg Lanning, Sarah Smale, Ellie Threlkeld, Elsa Lister, Fee Morris, Kate Cross, Tara Norris, Grace Potts and Hannah Jones. That's the same 11 that played on Friday and lost to Surrey. So again, it's a chance, isn't it, for those players to try and put it right again today.
Definitely, and how good that they've got Meg Lanning in the team. I know it's something that's been spoken about a lot, but her experience, her winning mentality, her ruthlessness is going to add so much to this team. So I can't wait to watch her bat again today.
As for the Blaze, Tammy Beaumont, Maria Kelly, Catherine Bryce, Georgia Elwes, Charlie Knott, Sarah Bryce, Emma Jones, Kirsty Gordon, Lucy Hyam, Charlie Phillips and Grace Ballinger make up the Blaze side. I tell you what, there's some good players on show across both sides today, aren't there? Some proper international kind of feel to this fixture.
Yeah, they've got good players, have the Blaze, as do Lancs, but the Blaze are stacked through the middle order and have a good collection of players who perform week in, week out, with the Bryce sisters, Kirsty Gordon, Georgia Elwes, very reliable players, and players like Tammy Beaumont, who's also got a point to prove, being dropped from the England T20 and 50 over World Cup team.
Yeah, that's going to hurt a bit, hasn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Umpires are heading out to the middle. There's a guard of honour. There's some local school children waving their Lancashire Lightning and Lancashire Thunder flags that are there waiting for the arrival of the players. The Blaze have played 1 and 1-1, so they're sitting mid-table. As we mentioned, Lancashire Thunder 1 game and 1 defeat, which came on Friday. It's 2 from 2 for Surrey's women. They're top of the pile. Somerset a second, played 2-1-1. Essex have played 1 and 1-1, and Durham played 1 and 1-1, are in 4th position. As we welcome viewers across Lancs TV as well for this opening fixture of this T20 double header. Do you like the way that the women's Vitality Blast is kind of replicating the men's, that the two competitions are aligned in terms of qualification and then finals day? Is that nice?
Yeah, I think my favourite part about the whole thing is that the tournament's done within a 6-week period. I think in the previous years, particularly in the men's competition, we've seen all the group games take place in May, June, and then the finals in September, and it looks like a different makeup of team.
Yeah.
So I think that's been the biggest plus to this competition being aligned, is that actually you take that momentum from the group games into the finals, and it's a much easier format to then follow as a fan.
Yeah, that's a welcome change, isn't it, to the schedule? I think, to have that kind of competition all I say boxed off, but all completed before the 100 starts, and then you're not having to come back in later in the year. And
feels like a tournament then,
doesn't it? Doesn't it? Yeah, it does. Right, we're set to go then. It'll be Phillips to open up the bowling from the Anderson end. We've got Eve Jones, who had a blistering start to the Blast on Friday. She's on strike and driving this first delivery out towards backward point, where it's fielded inside the circle and there's no run. It was a blistering start by Jones and Carter on Friday. Brilliant knock from Eve Jones, but I guess when you've got Meg Lanning at 3, you can't afford to hang about.
Yeah, you can see she's going out with a real change of intent from a 50 over campaign, and she's got real drive in the way that she's started to play this campaign. Even that first ball charging Phillips, it's great to see.
Phillips in again. Jones waits, flash towards the leg side, picked up at mid-wicket, and there's no runs. A couple of dot balls to start the game. We're in the power play, so we've got the fielding restrictions in place. Just a couple of fielders allowed outside the fielding circle, and that's at deep fine leg and deep third. There's plenty of Blaze players inside the circle. There's a ring of 5 on the offside, and 2 fielders on the leg side inside the circle. Here's Phillips in again, balls to Jones, down the pitch. Oh, and a juggling attempt to take the catch inside the circle at cover. In the end, it's been put down. Do get through for a single, but it was a pretty good effort to try and take the catch by Catherine Bryce. Juggling attempt, in the end she spilled it, and Thunder have the first run on the board. Yeah,
great effort from Bryce in the ring there, diving to her right. And it just was a juggling act, wasn't it? And didn't manage to hold on to it. That would have been a brilliant start from the Blaze. Eve Jones, hand on hip at the other end, feeling thankful that it didn't stick, because sometimes those catches do, they just stick in your hand.
Yes, it would have been a brilliant one-handed diving catch. Carter's on strike for the first time, and that's driven away. It's hit firmly, and again, very nicely stopped inside the circle. Fielding's been right on the money so far. These two made a very good opening partnership in the defeat that Lancashire Thunder had against Surrey on Friday. They put on 97 for the first wicket. Eve Jones and Darcy Carter. Jones making 56. Carter making 35. Certainly gave Thunder a very good platform on Friday at the Oval, but in the end, not enough runs to win the game. As Phillips bowls it again, chopped away by Carter. Can't seem to find a gap through the offside, and this is a very good first 5 deliveries of the match by the Blaze.
Yeah, it looks like the ball's coming onto the bat nicely. Both players have been able to get their hands through the ball. They've just hit fielders so far, so despite 4 dots, I think we're going to see a high score today with this pitch, with the way that it seems to be coming onto the bat really nicely.
And now a slip in place. Final ball of the first over. Swatted out towards the leg side by Carter. Out towards deep mid-wicket. Catherine Bryce is chasing after it. She will get to it right by the edge of the boundary rope. And they've crossed for 2 to complete the over. But that's a super start by Phillips and by the Blaze. Just 3 runs conceded from the first over. A couple for Carter, 1 for Jones. 3 without loss, 1 over him.
Yeah, good start from the Blaze, and brilliant in the field. A wonderful diving effort from Catherine Bryce. It was one of those that diving to your right, often stick in your hand. She got a big palm on it and juggled it down, and it didn't quite stick. But the fielding has been excellent this first over. There's been great contact on the bat from both Jones and Carter. They just haven't found the gap or the boundaries. I think that was a big difference in that game on Friday between Surrey and Lancs. I know you were there, Scott, that Surrey's fielding was just extraordinary, wasn't it?
Yeah, they were excellent. Lancashire probably were in the end quite a few runs short, even though they had such a good start, but take nothing away from Surrey with the ball and in the field. They were brilliant. Yeah, they were terrific.
So it'll be Ballinger striding in from the Statham end. Jones digs that out into cover's hand and fires it into the keeper.
Just looking at the Blaze, their opening victory came against Yorkshire on Friday, a 4-wicket victory. Difficult, I guess, isn't it, to make any kind of judgment just 1 game into the competition, but it's a good start for Phillips. She picked up 3 for 31 from 4 overs on Friday in that victory for the Blaze against Yorkshire.
Well, Bryce has taken the helmet and she'll be coming up to the stumps for Ballinger. 4 balls Eve Jones has faced, and every ball she's looked to advance down the track. So just trying to counter that as Ballinger is in. And Jones strikes up and over mid-off. Lovely strike down the ground for 4. First boundary of the day. Lancashire 7 for no loss.
It's a lovely Lovely clean shot from Eve Jones, picking up from where she left off. At least she's trying to from Friday. She hit the ball so well on Friday. But we were chatting before we came on air, weren't we, Phoebe, about having Meg Lanning at 3. So you can't really afford to chew up too many deliveries if you're opening the batting with Lanning slated at 3.
Eve Jones just pausing there as the camera staff walk past behind the bowler's arm, and Ballinger in, and Jones strikes onto the onside, and they scamper for a single. Yeah, I don't know whether we discussed this earlier, but Meg Lanning is the best opening batter in the world, and is batting 3 for Lancashire. Now, whether that's a tactical decision to allow Eve Jones, Darcy Carter to express themselves as the 2 opening pair, but it does seem to me a potential miss from Lancashire's side. But I guess it has worked in Eve Jones's favour in that opening game. So a power play or a first 10 overs, 97 before the first wicket came down, you'd say that's a successful start for Lancashire, and that Meg Lanning batting at 3 and scoring 40 off 20 is a success. As Ballinger is in once again, Darcy Carter goes for a big swipe, doesn't make contact cleanly. Ballinger fields off her own bowling. She's had a real success in the 100 as Grace Ballinger. Won the tournament for what was the Northern Superchargers last year. Going to have to get ourselves used to all the new names. Can you remember?
The Superchargers are no longer the Super... Are they the Sunrisers now?
The Leeds Sunrisers, yes.
The Leeds Sunrisers.
We will have to double check on that, as Grace Ballinger is once again striding in to Carter, and Carter gets a thick outside edge down to 3rd for a single. Bit of sloppy fielding by Blaze, as that doesn't go cleanly into the gloves by Phillips, who you would have thought would be looking to protect that new ball, as she'll be opening and bowling again in the power play, no doubt. So a little bit of a change of field here for Jones. Beaumont goes out of gully, and they have stacked the offside. So backward point, cover, extra cover, mid-off, 3rd. Ballinger in, and Jones goes straight to mid-on, and that's taken. Good catch by Marie Kelly. Moving to her right, and Eve Jones hits that straight down the throat of mid-on, and Lancashire a 9 for their first wicket.
Yeah, just didn't quite get a hold of it as she was hoping for, Eve Jones. Good catch at mid-off by Kelly. So, well, it reflects what has been a very good start with the ball here, isn't it, by the Blaze. And Jones departs on the back of a 50 on Friday, out for 6 today, but it does see the arrival of Meg Lanning, who gets a terrific reception as she comes out to bat as well. It's her first appearance here at Emirates Old Trafford for Meg Lanning. I chatted to her the other day, so she's never played here before, so she was very much looking forward to it. What a player to have in, goodness me. If you're in that Thunder dressing room, Phoebe, the prospect of spending the summer training, just in conversations with Meg Lanning must be absolutely invaluable.
Definitely, and it's about absorbing as much information, learning as much information. Even me as a former player was speaking to Kate Cross the other day and saying, what's she been saying? What have you learned already? She's only been there 5 or 6 days. But she is one of a kind, and it's those creme de la creme athletes you want to learn from.
Here comes Phillips, over number 2 for her. A swing and a miss from Darcy Carter. And through to Sarah Bryce, the Blaze keeper. There's no run, so 9 for 1. We start the 3rd over here at a sun-drenched Emirates Old Trafford. Across Sports Extra, Lancs TV and the BBC Sport website and app. The first of a T20 double header. 4 o'clock for the second game. It'd be hot then. It's Phillips again. Carter waits in and bowls, and that's clubbed back down the ground. That'll be 4. A couple of bounces over the rope and in towards the advertising 4 for Carter. She caught a hold of that one, and Thunder moved to double figures, 13 for 1.
Yeah, that's a lovely strike from Carter. Very much inner arc, but she played it well, up and over. Straight as it comes over the umpire's head for 4.
The ball's disappeared behind the sight screen. Good shot from Carter. She moves to 7 then, 13 for 1 in the third over. Ground just starting to fill up a little bit now. Decent number of spectators on the far side underneath the point in a little bit of shade, not surprised. Phillips balls again to Carter. Oh, she's gone to pull it and she's top-edged it over the keeper, and Sarah Bryce throws away a wicket-keeping glove, goes hurtling after it towards the boundary, trying to catch up with the ball. It's sped away for 4 more. So back-to-back 4s for Carter. She moves on to 11, now 17 for 1 halfway through the third over.
I think potentially with that shot and Eve Jones's dismissal, we're seeing that the wicket isn't playing as true as Friday night, that it's not quite the road at the Oval. That was a big thick outside edge, and then Eve Jones' dismissal where she hit it straight to mid-on. It looked like the ball stopped on her. That one got big on Carter. So as we've seen at Emirates Old Trafford many times before, the pitch can have a little bit in it for the bowlers, and it does tend to sometimes get big on batters or skid on. So be interesting to see throughout the day how it plays.
Phillips in again to Carter. It's a short delivery, a little bit of pace off as well from Phillips, and in the end Carter aims to try and pull the ball and probably threw the shot a little bit too quickly.
It's one thing Blaze have done really nice as a bowling unit throughout the last probably 18 months, is using that shorter ball within the campaign. Phillips bowls it really nicely. Cassidy McCarthy, who's not playing today, also bowls it really well.
Phillips again to Carter. Flashed out towards the leg side. There's a couple of fielders on that leg side boundary. Nicely done, right by the edge of the rope to prevent that going for 4. They've come back for 2. Carter on the leg side. That deep square leg and deep fine leg. Phillips for the Blaze, in and bowls again. Pulled by Carter, but again doesn't quite get a hold of it, and caught inside the circle by Bryce at mid-wicket. Carter departs. Yeah, pretty routine that, wasn't it, for Catherine Bryce. Carter out for 13. Sarah Smell comes out to join Meg Lanning. 19 for 2. 3 overs gone. By the way, I found out it's the
neither of these batters have faced a ball, so it's almost like starting the innings once again. 19 for 2 at Lancashire after the first 3 overs. They've bowled well, have the Blaze bowlers so far. We've seen them go to cross seam early doors. And the first 2 wickets, Eve Jones and Darcy Carter, as Ballinger in first delivery to Meg Lanning. That's worked off a hip, down to fine leg for a single. She's got a lovely aura about her, hasn't she, as well? Now, first ball at the Oval, she just glanced down to third for 4. Just looked effortless, as did that. Ballinger rocking the ball as she approaches the crease, and Smale drives that to mid-off.
Must be great for Ellie Threlkeld too as captain to have Meg Lanning in the side and to be able to kind of lean on her, I guess. And I mean, there's quite a lot of occasions on Friday where, you know, in conversations with Meg Lanning, I mean, to have that source of knowledge for Ellie as captain must be brilliant.
Ballinger in and worked to mid-wicket for no run. Well, she's potentially one of the greatest captains that's ever lived. She's dominated world cricket for the decade that she was captain for Australia. And since she's left, they haven't won much since. And we've never really seen Australia be knocked out in semi-finals, but they have been since Meg's left, as Ballinger is in, and Smale manages to get a tickle. It goes very fine, but they come back for a single as it slows up in the deep. So she is part of a generation of Australian cricket that will be hard to relive. I'm sure they will at some point again, as they seem to be a nation that anything is possible. Just a change in field here for Ballinger to Smale. Cover goes out, third up, so there's a very wide fine. Ballinger in, and Smale gets a thick outside edge, drives to point for no run. Lancashire 22 for 2. Bowling the final ball of the fourth over. It's certainly been Blazes' power play so far on a blazing hot day at Emirates Old Trafford. This is what May Bank holiday weekends are all about. It's Ballinger striding in and left alone by Smale. Looking for the wide call. Umpire doesn't give it. It's a good delivery in the end by Ballinger. Lancashire 22 for 2 off 4.
Well, Thunder will be out in the field bowling at midday, right in the hottest part of the day. Tough gig, isn't it, actually, for the women's sides to get the 10:30 start on with temperatures like this. By the time the men start at 4, it'll just be kind of just tapering off a little bit, but be a factor to the for the game, won't it? This today, the weather as well, the conditions, the heat. You fancy running in and bowling in these temperatures, Phoebe?
At least it's only 20 overs. It's only 90 minutes in the scorching sunshine. I think if it was 50 overs, that's where it has a real effect on your body, and it will be hard work and it'll be hot, but T20 is intense, so I think you can do it in these conditions.
So you got absolutely no sympathy whatsoever for your former teammates?
No, these are the days I actually want to play cricket.
22 for 2. Change of bowling. Gordon into the attack. Balls to Lanning. That's defended out towards cover, and there's no run. Your mate Kate Cross running in. 30 degrees. Not an ounce of sympathy from you up here. Swept away by Lanning. That's a beautiful shot. That'll be 4 out to square leg. First boundary from Meg Lanning. She moves to 5. Under 26 for 2.
Such a good shot. I think we're going to be in awe throughout this innings. But that is a wonderful drive. Struck cleanly. Brilliant option against Kirsty Gordon.
I think we're going to be in awe for most of the competition, aren't we, watching Lanning back at batted to close quarters like this. Come for the sweep again. Got it through the infield. It'll run away for back-to-back boundaries. This time it's behind square. Previous sweep just a fraction in front of square. That one was dragged behind square. As soon as it got past the fielders inside the circle, Lucy Hyam couldn't quite get low down to her right to stop it. Runs away for 4. Lanning moves on to 9, so 30 for 2, and straight away pressure here on Kirsty Gordon, having conceded a couple of boundaries.
Yeah, she lost a line there, did Gordon. Bowled leg stump, so it was a free shot for Lanning. And she's so pinpoint with the precision that was always going to be another boundary.
Gordon bowls to Lanning. Up onto the back foot and whipped away through the onside for a single. Moves to 10, 31 for 2. With 4 balls into the 5th over.
Kirsty Gordon, who'll be representing Scotland in this summer's T20 World Cup. She's playing in the Tri-Series before, but her first year back with Scotland.
In and balls to Smale. That's been worked to the leg side. Hyam fields, no run.
after being part of the England setup for many years. I think it's 3 years you're not able to play for England before you can then go and play for your associate nation.
Final ball of the 5th over. Down the pitch comes Snell. That's whipped again through the leg side for 1. Gets off the mark with that. We've had 5 overs and it's 32 for 2. So 1 over remaining of the power play. Lanning on 10 and Smale on 1. I shall leave you, Phoebe, and Polly will come and join you.
Yeah, it's been a great start from the Blaze with the ball in hand. The seamers have been super economical and managed to get the breakthrough wickets. Ballinger of Carter, Phillips of Eve Jones. And there'll be a change of bowler for the final over of the power play. Charlie Knott, Australian international, and I'll be joined by Polly Starkey. Welcome, Polly.
Thank you. I'm just dropping my stuff everywhere.
Knott into Smale. Smale advances down, is stumped. Beats her with the drift. Does not. And Smale will depart for just 1 run. Lancashire 32 for 3.
Instant impact from Charlie Knott. We've been talking about Meg Lanning and haven't got the chance to mention Charlie Knott, but the calibre of international players that have come over for this competition and for the One Day Cup. Charlie Knott is absolutely fantastic, such a handy all-rounder and such an asset to the Blaze. Was brilliant in their first game, and yeah, as I say, comes on and takes a wicket with her first ball, so not too bad at all. A little bit difficult for Lancashire. They've still got Meg Lanning in crucially, but wickets are tumbling with inside the power play.
Yeah, Charlie Knott's pressing on that Australian team. I know she's been part of the Australian A, but has played such a brilliant hand in the domestic season over in Australia, and is getting picked up in franchise cricket as well as playing overseas cricket. I think it was last year she was with Hampshire.
Yeah, she was a couple of seasons ago with the Southern Vipers when that all still existed, and then yeah, has had a couple of stints in the UK.
This year with the Blaze, taking the first wicket of the ball of her balls today, is not in, and Threlkeld defends off the front foot for no run. I think it just puts the power play 100% into the Blaze's court with that third wicket as Smale is looking into a balanced power play before that, as Knott is in, and Threlkeld looks to sweep as it moves down the leg side. Not into Threlkeld, who advances up and is taken by Gordon. Goes down the crease, does Ellie Threlkeld. 3 strides, tries to go up and over, but instead is taken on the inner ring. Simple catch by Kirsty Gordon. Lancashire now 33 for 4 in the power play.
Yeah, simple as you like, a really soft dismissal, and it's not good from Lancashire. As I say, it's fine that Meg Lanning's still there, but if there've been little kind of glimmers of it, but the full package isn't quite there. So the Blaze will be very satisfied with the start they've made, with the knowledge that they are a very good side at chasing.
Absolutely, and it looks a good deck out there, but it's not playing like the Oval, and the Lancashire team seem to be batting as if it's coming on like the Oval pitch. As Knott comes in for a 4th delivery, and Morris works off her legs for no run. You can see the intent and aggression has been there from the Lancashire top order.
Yeah, you could see that from really early on with Eve Jones and Darcy Carter. I was really impressed with what we saw from Darcy Carter. Unfortunate to get out to, again, a soft dismissal.
Goes through to the keeper, Morris off the back foot and lets it go into the hands of Sarah Bryce. Yeah, very different day to Friday in the blazing sunshine in London, as not in and worked 2 extra cover for no run, and that'll be the end of the power play. It certainly has been the Blazes power play, 33 for 4. And Charlie Knott coming in to bowl the final over of the power play and having complete impetus onto the game. She's bowled 1 over, 2 wickets for 1 run.
That's what you want from your overseas player. There's that little bit of pressure, I guess, for her coming in. She's this all-rounder. There's maybe a bit of expectation, but she's come in, and what a way to start her spell today. As we're going to see Kirsty Gordon return from the James Anderson end. Meg Lanning to face, and that has been pummeled away. Will be fielded right on the boundary behind square. So just the 1 run with Fee Morris now at the striker's end. I'm looking forward to seeing Kirsty Gordon on Thursday up in Edinburgh as Scotland play the Netherlands. That should be her first game back for Scotland, which is a very exciting prospect. Morris taking a few steps down the track and guide it to mid-on just for a single.
Yeah, Blaze is a team that looks very different after this game, with Scotland going into the Tri-Series against the Netherlands. They would lose Kirsty Gordon, Sarah Bryce, Catherine Bryce.
Lanning rocks back and punches this away. Will just be the one this time.
Lose 3 of the most experienced and highest performing players, as well as the captain, so probably a team that you wanted to play after today's fixture.
Gordon in again, and Morris works this into leg side. A slight shout, but will just be 1. Yeah, if you're talking about key players and the core of a team, they really, the Bryces and Kirsty Gordon really make up that for the Blaze. So it will be, I mean, it's an opportunity for other players, which is exciting, and you don't know who could come through and have a bit of a breakthrough moment, as this is pushed off the back foot by Lanning. But yeah, it will be quite different for the Blaze for the next couple of weeks.
Well, you never know, we might see Tammy Beaumont with the gloves.
You never know.
That probably then opens up more opportunities within the squad to bring in the likes of McCarthy.
It's worked into the leg side by Fee Morris.
You know, they've got Josie Groves as well on the bench, so they've got good players to come in, and Blaze are one of these squads that have the depth.
7 overs gone, 39 for 4 are Lancashire, with Meg Lanning 13 from 8 and Fee Morris 3 from 5. Yeah, it is a really good opportunity for other players to come in. We've seen, I saw Prisha Thanawala on debut opening the batting with Tammy Beaumont, and I thought she was excellent. She's gone on loan back to Leicestershire for a little bit, and I've seen Josie Groves has been playing for Northants, but to bring those 2 back into the side I think would be brilliant. Ella Claridge as well, who also could take the gloves.
Well, Knott comes in for second over. First over very successful as Morris reverses, and that'll race away to the boundary for 4.
That was a nice shot, just aware of the field and knowing that that was an open gap for her to find.
Yeah, she played that well, did Morris. Charlie Knott, an off spinner, so coming into Morris, so they've got that 3rd vacant. Got a short 45. She just moved her point round. Don't think that would have covered that shot. As Knott comes over the wicket to Morris, and Morris advances down, and as it's bowled into the pitch, just stops in her tracks. Canny bowler is Knott. Spots Morris coming down early and changes her length. She's in again. Morris drives that down to mid-wicket. They'll go for a run out. and Lanning makes it comfortably the other end. It's a good piece of running from Morris.
Yeah, it's a good piece of running, slightly risky, and we've seen some fantastic fielding so far in the One Day Cup and even after the first round of this competition, the Blast. So slightly risky, but they've kind of got to take those chances when they come.
Lanning on strike, not round the wicket, and Lanning hooks that round to short 45. Be disappointed she's missed out on that delivery that was erring down the leg side. You can see square legs very far behind, mid wicket in front, long on out and deep cover, not using all fielders in the power play. Just in once again and swept out to square leg. Jones does the work in the deep. Which team has impressed you so far in this Vitality Blast?
I think
Ollie?
Surrey, you have to say automatically. They really are so sharp in defending their title.
In, and Morris drives that straight to Bryce at mid-wicket. So after the 8th over, Lancashire 45 for 4. Lanning is 14 off 10. Morris 8 from 9. They've had a brilliant power play. Have Blaze with the ball in hand. And they'll need a partnership with Lancashire here to build. 8 overs gone, 12 remaining. Lancashire 45 for 4. So Surrey have been the
Yeah, I
pick
think
for you.
Surrey, but also Essex. I've honestly been very surprised by them, given how tough they've had it in the One Day Cup. I think the way they've bounced back so far in the T20 stuff has been really good, because that is really tough to kind of come back to. But I think one thing that's great about their side is they do have this consistency where they're not really going to be affected by the World Cup particularly. So that's actually a huge benefit for them. So I think going forward in this competition, that will be a huge advantage for them.
Yeah, they don't have players coming in and out of the squad, do
Exactly.
they? They've got that consistency, and they have won the One Day Cup in previous years. So a team that's done it before, and the change of format always helps.
Exactly. There's a change of bowling with Catherine Bryce from the James Anderson end. Starts with a dot.
Yeah, it'll be a big period of summer that they'll lose the likes of Catherine Bryce at the World Cup.
This one defended by Lanning. Yeah, Catherine Bryce will be playing here against Ireland during the World Cup.
Some big games in the north for Scotland.
Yeah, got the England-Scotland game at Headingley, which is very exciting. This one's been chipped up to Catherine Bryce, hit into the pitch first, so 45 for 4.
Oh, 3 dots on the bounce. You don't see that a lot to Meg Lanning.
Not at all.
Just bowling that pace that's hard to work with and bowling a really tight line.
Lanning slaps this away and finds the gap. It will go for 4. Beats the inner ring, and just a little nudge of the bat does the job.
Yeah, she angles a bat so well there when she strikes off the back foot, knowing that that is her gap, her boundary. So after 3 dots, she punishes it for a boundary.
Bryce in again, and once again trying to angle the bat. This time goes straight to Grace Ballinger inside the ring.
Yeah, good change of pace there by Bryce. Not quite as much pace to work with for Lanning, so tries to repeat that shot but can't get it as fine.
Lanning slaps this away. Tammy Beaumont riding the ring to collect the ball, but they do push for 2, which in this heat I think must be horrible. But they do it.
Well, she's so quick between the wickets, is Lanning as well.
51 for 4 after 9. With Lanning on 20 from 16 and Fee Morris 8 from 9. That's the 50 up for Lancashire. Definitely not as quick as they would have wanted.
We've got a nice period of rebuild here between Morris and Lanning. That 6th over from Knott was destructive in the power play, taking 2 back-to-back wickets of Smale and Threlkeld. But there's been a rebuild here. Lanning and Morris. And there'll be a change of bowler as well. Elwys into the attack. She comes into Morris. Morris works up and over. Point. That's a nice shot for 4. Scoreboard goes up to 55 for 4. Georgia Elwys, another experienced campaigner in the Blaze attack. They've got that depth, that experience. Played a lot of games for England. 2nd year with Blaze. So Elwys in again, and Morris works off her legs into the leg side. So Elwys's field is deep cover, square, mid-wicket and long on, all on the boundary. And everyone else in the ring. They've been good through the 50 over campaign as well, haven't the Blaze?
Yeah, they're always up there in any competition. They always put in a few good performances. They've wobbled a little bit at times, but overall have been really strong.
Well, Elwys into the attack and slapped into the leg side by Lanning. You can see that Elwys is setting up a knuckleball really early in her grip. So it means it just doesn't have the same pace on the ball. You can see here, just in a grip, knuckleball presented. Morris slaps that straight to point. And with that, she's got that invariable pace coming out of the hand and not as quick as her seam up delivery, but it's looking like it's her stock ball this over. Elwys in once again, and Morris works to mid-on for a single. Lancashire 57 for 4. Yeah, they are always there and thereabouts of the Blaze, aren't they?
Yeah. I think they're such a gritty side as well, particularly when you see them bat in the 50 over format. They rarely get all out. They're just so stubborn in that middle to lower order, which I think is such a skill.
In, and Lanning gets a thick outside edge. Bit of fortune there. But it works down to 3rd for another boundary. It's a good over for Lancashire. 11 from it. And that takes Lancashire up to 62 for 4 at the halfway point. It's been a good rebuild by these two. Morris Kingham in at 33 for 4. So we're starting to see a partnership here.
Thanks to Polly and to Phoebe. They'll be back shortly. Scott Reed and Dave Bracegirdle for the next few overs. Good morning, Dave. Nice to hear from you and see you.
It's been a long old morning. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Scott. Yes, left the Kingdom of Newark about 7 o'clock this morning, and one or two detours on the way, as you used to on a bank holiday. If they're not shutting down the trains, they're putting out the cones on the road.
62 for 4, halfway stage then. There's Grace Ballinger into to Fee Morris. Pulls in the top edge and caught as well. 5th wicket to fall as Kelly takes the catch, coming from short fine around the keeper. That top edge off the bat of Fee Morris. She's gone for 14, and the Blaze break this partnership, which was trying to rebuild here for Lancashire Thunder. Now 5 down, 62 for 5.
Yes, they've contributed somewhat to their own downfall here, haven't they? The Thunder, seemingly they're trying to go very, very quickly from 1st gear to 5th, aren't they? Without playing themselves in. And as we know, in 20 over cricket, there is There is time to lay a foundation. That's what Meg Lanning will be doing. In comes Elsa Lister, the Scottish international at 7, who's ideal for this sort of rebuilding job, but the Blaze will be delighted to have got half the side out just at the start of the 11th over. Grace Ballinger missed the first match. The one changed today. Ballinger coming in for Ella Claridge. She's already picked up a couple of wickets.
Yeah, well, while Lanning's there, there's still hope here for Lancashire Thunder, but and we know Lister can bat and score quickly and hit the ball hard, but so much depends on Meg Lanning now. 25 from 18, 62 for 5 at the start of the 11th over. Second wicket for Grace Ballinger, 2 for 7. She's in from the Anderson end. There's 3 on the leg side boundary and 1 on the offside boundary. Lister's on strike. Here's Ballinger from around the wicket, bowls. Oh, and that's the attempted pull from Lister, almost under edging that back towards the stumps. She got, oh no, it's been a bye, so nothing on that. Swing and a miss in the end from Lister. It's gone through for a bye, I think, was the call from the umpire.
Has it clattered into Sarah Bryce's helmet? I think they're just going to just check that she's okay, and undoubtedly it'll involve a helmet check as well. Short enough to pull, but no contact made with the bat, and they'll just go through the necessary procedure with Sarah Bryce just to make sure she's okay. Yeah, I think she lost sight of it, didn't she, as Elsa Lister tried to pull it away to leg, moved across in front of Sarah Bryce, and I think the last thing that Bryce was expecting was for Lister to miss it completely. Clattered into the badge, but she's been checked out, answered the necessary concussion protocol questions. When did Burnley last lose in the 3rd round of the FA Cup and all that sort of stuff, Scott, and she's been past fit to go.
No need for that. No need for that, Dave. Very cruel early blow, is that? Yes, I've not seen you since that FA Cup tie at Turf Moor, have I?
No, back in the middle of winter. Crikey, couldn't have more different weather, could we? It's glorious today. Absolutely glorious.
Well, Meg Lanning will be on strike. 25 not out. Here's Ballinger into to Lanning. Work it to the leg side. Lister says there's a chance to add a run to the total here.
Yeah, they took a bye there. I mean, I suppose that's all fine and dandy. I suppose it was within the remit of the umpire quickly to call dead ball, having seen the ball actually clatter straight into the helmet of Sarah Bryce. Could have done, but content just to let it go.
Lister waits, Ballinger's in and bowls. Trying to muscle it out towards the leg side, but in the end it just trickles up to mid-on. There's no run. So 64 for 5. Lancashire losing the wickets of Jones and Carter, Smale, Threlkeld and Morris, with a couple of wickets for Ballinger, a couple for Knott and 1 for Phillips as well. Ballinger bowls again. Lister pulls it away. Gets through the first. Throw comes in from the mid-wicket boundary. 1 for Ailsa Lister. She's off the mark with that. 65 for 5 with 1 ball left of the 11th.
Yeah, as always, Kirsty Gordon just rotating her bowlers. She's got lots of options. She's used 6 different bowlers already. And all likelihood that we'll see Lucy Hyam added to that list before too long.
Ballinger to complete the over. Pace off to Lanning, who waits for the ball and chops it away into the offside. Gets through for 1 and keeps the strike as well. That's the end of Grace Ballinger's 3rd over, so she's got 1 more available to bowl. Has bowled very nicely today. 2 for 10 for Grace Ballinger from 3 overs. 11 gone, and Lancashire Thunder 66 for 5.
Yeah, Charlie Knott, I think, is going to come back into the attack. What a great start to her bowling spell. She had a wicket with her first ball, a wicket with her 3rd ball. 23-year-old Queenslander. She, of course, I'm sure will have taken a lot of inspiration growing up watching the likes of Meg Lanning, one of the real superstars of the women's game. Great to see her playing in this competition. How not would love to get her out. Bowls to and now outside the off stump through to Sarah Bryce, who thankfully showed no ill effects from that one that clattered into the helmet in the previous over. Not going round the wicket. Talented all-rounder. She got a half-century in the win over Yorkshire on Friday. Floats this one up, and it's almost made into a low full toss, just paddled round the corner by Lanning. Ballinger doing the fielding at short fine, and they take a single. 67 for 5. I think from here you've got to make sure you get top side of 100, haven't you? And then hopefully there's enough wickets left, enough overs left to really push on towards the back end of the innings, but can't really afford for either of these two to go right now. Not to Lister. Pushes it back to the, I was going to say back to the bowler. Got a little bit of a bobble there, didn't she, on that used wicket next to the one they're playing on. Just bobbled over a hand, Charlie Lister. Charlie Knott, I beg your pardon, and single taken by Lister. Who moves on to 2, 68 for 5. Blaze in there. Flame red tops, short of a length, cut away to backward point. This will going to challenge Lucy Higham on the boundary edge, and Higham can't get there. It's good effort in the deep, but it's gone for 4. Much needed boundary for the home side. Up to 72 for 5.
Yeah, much welcome boundary that. Well, Lanning, he's still there, and is the key. Lancashire Thunder here probably needs to bat the 8 overs. Lancashire to get something that they might feel confident in defending. 32 from 23 now for Meg Lanning.
Nicely set, isn't she? Not. I think she'd be a little disappointed she offered so much width there. This one's a tighter line. It's just helped out into the leg side to Tammy Beaumont. Throw in from the deep on the bounce. Beaumont will be looking to get going in this competition. When the Blaze begin their chase, she only made 8 on Friday. Chopped a wide ball onto her sticks, and understandably there was a huge deal of disappointment before she took to bat under her arm and made her way off. This one's played to Catherine Bryce at mid-wicket, tumbling stop. And there's no run, so not through. 3 overs now, 2 for 14. Excellent figures, 73 for 5. 7 from that over. 8 to go. Lanning has 33. Lister starting her innings is 2 not out. Still Kate Cross, Tara Norris, Grace Potts and Hannah Jones to come.
See Kirsty Gordon coming into the attack. She bowled a couple of overs early on for just 16.
Just swept away for a couple of boundaries, wasn't she? First couple of balls, which is unlike Kirsty. She's usually right on it from the start.
It's a long off and a long on. There's a deep mid-wicket and a deep backward square leg out by the boundary rope. There's Kirsty Gordon from the Anderson end, and there's Lanning on the sweep again. Picked up a short fine leg. And there's no run. 73 for 5 as we start the 13th over of the Lancashire Thunder innings, put into bat by the Blaze, who won the toss at 10 o'clock this morning. Lanning carves that out through the offside. Through for a single. Elwes fields at the edge of the circle. Lanning moves to 34. 74 for 5. Brings Lister back on strike. Taps the bat and waits for Gordon, who's bowling in sunglasses. Lister looking to try and force the ball away. Inside edge back onto a pad, picked up by the keeper. And there's no run. She has been quite positive using her feet, Elsa Lister, early on here, trying to get at Kirsty Gordon. That's a good shot. That's clubbed down the ground. Just about cut off on the boundary. Good work, actually. The relay throw comes in, and they've hustled back for a couple. Lister moves on to 4. And the score to 76 for 5.
Yeah, they're very well drilled actually, the Blaze. Most of this side were here last year as well, playing under Craig Cummings. Craig Cumming, the head coach, and obviously Kirsty Gordon, the skipper.
Here's Gordon in and bowls. Reverse sweep by Lister. Just gets it past the fielder. That'll run away for 4. Very nicely timed by Lister. Hitting one straight down the ground for a couple. Then the reverse sweep for 4. She moves on to 8. The score now 80 for 5 with 1 ball left of the 13th over.
Yeah, that gap being plugged now as well. Catherine Bryce has just come over. Supplement the numbers on the offside just in case she goes for the reverse again.
8 not out, Lister. There is Kirsty Gordon in and bowl. That's muscled out towards the leg side. There's a fielder out at deep mid-wicket. Just be the single for Lister. Moves to 9, 81 for 5. End of the over that as well. 13 gone now. 7 overs remaining for Lancashire Thunder. Lanning 34, Lister on 9.
So Charlie Phillips is going to on the next over, the 14th. Still not seeing Lucy Hyam with her off spinners. Charlie Phillips picked up a wicket early on. Darcy Carter, the Scottish international, out for 13 at the top of the order. Loves a chat with the bowlers, Kirsty Gordon. Absolutely proactive and reactive with every delivery. They'll have a plan, and if it doesn't work, she'll be again in the ear of a bowler. Next ball, what are you going to bowl? What field do you want? 5 in a ring on the offside. Lister on strike on 9. This is down the leg side. That'll have to be reloaded. 1 more to the total. Bowling to a plan, aren't they, with her going round the wicket to the right-hander.
Yeah, they've strengthened the leg side field, haven't they? There's a shorter boundary, that the leg side. There's a fine leg, there's a deep backward square leg, there's a deep mid wicket, and there's a long on as well.
5 on the offside inside the circle, the 4 on the leg side, all on the fence. And should be able to get it, well, a comfortable 1. It's that awkward distance out there, isn't it? You've got to be really cute and go very, very quickly to drop it on the leg side and try and scamper a second. It's been carefully positioned to prevent that by Kirsty Gordon. Lanning back on strike on 34. Thunder's hopes, I think, of a total over 120 probably lie with the Australian. As Phillips round the wicket, bowls to a now, and this is helped away. That'll go for 4. It was too short and would have drifted a long way down the leg side had Lanning not just helped it on its way. Poor line bowled there by Charlie Phillips. And again, Kirsty Gordon will have a little word with the bowler.
Yeah, didn't quite get that right. That's not the line to be bowling with the field set as it is. Lanning made the most of it.
She did. She's up to 38, 87 for 5. We're in the 14th over. Blaze winning the toss, opting to chase. Phillips in again, once more down the leg side, and once more it's going to be an extra ball to be bowled, but Sarah Bryce unable to take it down there as well, so they've gone through for an extra one, 2 added. Brings Lister back onto strike. She's 10 from 10. Persisting with the round the wicket line. What can Lister do? Well, she's hit it cleanly and crisply and over the ropes, I think. They're just going to check, but I think that's gone all the way it has. Lovely pick-up from Elsa Lister. And that's a much-needed boost to the Thunder total, and really nicely appreciated by the ever-swelling crowd inside Old Trafford. Lovely pick-up.
Yeah, she'll back herself every time to clear the fielders on that boundary there. Phillips coming around the wicket, but not, for me, bowling the right line here to Lister. She puts it there. Lister's going to going to take that on every time, even with the field set back on the boundary rope. She'll back herself to clear those fielders as she did just then.
I was going to say it's a set plan, and as I said at the start of the over, they'll have a chat about things if they're not going right. Looks as if the only alteration though is to move mid-wicket just a little squarer. I want Charlie Phillips, I'm sure, to be bowling towards middle stump. Oh, it's short, and again it's pulled away behind square. Nice sliding stop out there by Emma Jones. One more to the total, 96 for 5. This comfortably the most expensive over of the innings. 15 have gone from it so far, and still 2 balls left. Or a minimum of 2 balls. We've had a couple of wides already. A couple of good overs from Phillips. The start of the innings. This one's been expensive. This one's nice and full though, and just played into the offside. Out to Georgia Elwis, and there's no run. A precious dot.
It's better that, isn't it, from Phillips? Fallen straight to Lanning.
I think Lucy Hyam might have been given this over, but probably unlikely that we'll see the off spinner now. Only 6 overs remaining. As Phillips balls into the pads, would have pitched outside leg, so the over ends with a couple of dots, but 15 from it. Good stuff for the Thunder. 96 for 5 after 14. Lanning comfortably the top scorer in the innings with 38. Elsa Lister's got 17, the only other 2 to make double figures, Fee Morris and Darcy Carter.
Well, I should drag that back a little bit towards the back end with a couple of dot balls to end the over, but a good one that for Thunder. Need a few more of those between now and the end of their innings. Lister 17 from 12, Lanning 38, so got something going here, these two. 34 run partnership in just 22 deliveries, so they've tried to find a way to counter-attack here, Lister and Lanning. Successful so far. Catherine Bryce returns from the James Anderson end, and Lister's on strike, over number 15. This 96 for 5, the Thunder. In and bowls to Lister, that's driven into the offside, but picked up by Elwis at cover, and there's no run. Dot ball to start the 15th over. Long off, long on, deep mid-wicket, deep backward square leg. And Lister drives it down the ground and all the way for 4. The dive came in, it was a very good effort to try and cut it off, but she just hit it so hard, Lister. Thumped down the ground for 4, brings up 3 figures for Thunder, 100 for 5, and Lister moves to 21.
Good fielder Emma Jones, but even at her athletic best, she was unable to get there. Terrific attempt, wasn't it? 100 up.
In comes Bryce, balls to Lister, trying to find a gap through the offside this time. Going back and cuts it late. Just managing to squeeze it through point, and also back for 2. Good running from Lister and from Lanning, but especially from Lister to come back to this end, which the ball was always coming to the keeper's end. Did well to get 2 out of that. 102 for 5. Lister 23 from 15 now. It's Bryce for the Blaze, over the wicket, balls. Lister thumps it away through extra cover. Long off will get across. Tumbling stop by the boundary rope. 2 more for Ailsa Lister. He's on to 25 not out, 104 for 5.
Yeah, they've added 31 in 2.5 overs here, this pair.
2 balls left of the 15th over. Bryce balls, bit of pace off this time to Lister. He clips it away to mid-wicket. Jogs through for 1, 26 not out, 105 for 5.
I think it's fair to say when they joined forces, the Thunder innings was in disarray, wasn't it? At 62 for 5. First ball of the 11th over, and started talking about 120, but they should easily go past that from here.
Yeah, just the partnership that Thunder needed. Lanning's on strike, cuts this away, fielded inside the circle at cover point, and there's no run. End of the over. Well, it's a good over that from Thunder. They need a few more of those. 5 remaining, 105 for 5. Lanning has 38. Lister unbeaten on 26. And we've got 5 overs remaining. What can Thunder finish on here? Drinks being carried out on a scorching day at Emirates Old Trafford. There's only just a little bit of shade in the ground. You can sit below the point. At the back of that stand underneath the point. That gives you a little bit of shade, but there's not much more to be found in the sunshine today. The supporters inside the ground, but it is a beautiful afternoon. Where can Thunder finish? 105 for 5, 5 overs left. Polly Starkey will be alongside Phoebe Gray.
Well, Lancashire, despite their wobble in the power play, have started to rebuild, and what Meg Lanning and Elsa Lister have built here is absolutely crucial. I'm going to see Kirsty Gordon continue, the Blaze captain, into the attack, and this one's been slapped down the ground by Lister. Will just be a single.
Well, it's been a great rebuild from Lanning and Lister. Lister had a wonderful campaign last year in the T20 Blast, and building on it.
Gordon in again, and this has been hoiked away by Meg Lanning, and it will split the fielders and go for 4. Continuing the charge here, and Meg Lanning and Elsa Lister looking to try and get their Lancashire side to a competitive total against a very strong Blaze batting side.
That is the class of Meg Lanning. She splits the fielders directly in the middle there.
Lanning again, this time along the ground, will just be 1. Yeah, if you measured between the fielders, the ball would be right in the middle. It was the perfect shot.
Didn't necessarily have the power, but the precision, epic.
Once again, hoiking it between those fielders. This time a bit closer to Tammy Beaumont, but still unable to get there. And that's another 4.
Well, we're starting to hear the crowd today at Emirates Old Trafford. Some serious roars for that one. There's some momentum behind the innings now. Lancashire going at 7 and over, and a great over so far.
Lister looking to club this away. He'll just find Tammy Beaumont.
Lister will be another player that is a loss after this game, who's part of the Scottish international team and playing in the Tri-Series with the Netherlands.
Lanning slaps this 2-point. It's well stopped. There's a bit of ferocity behind it, but good fielding, and after 16 the score is 116 for 5. Meg Lanning on 43 from 33 and Elsa Lister 32 from 20. So big over there, 11 from it, which was something they definitely needed. This partnership building really well.
Well, you don't often see Kirsty Gordon going for 9s in T20 cricket, but Lanning and Lister have taken her down that over, as did Lanning in Gordon's first over, hitting her for back-to-back boundaries. But the woman that's destroyed the Lancashire's opening attack was not. She took 2 in her first over. She's back in the attack now. Lister moves across, just goes up and over the off stump. Once again, coming round the wicket. There's an off spinner to Lister. So not in. Lister advances down, takes a single to long on. Scoreboard creeps up to 117 for 5. So fielders out for not are square, cow, long on, long off. So all fielders on the offside are in the ring. Lanning on strike. Feels like it's bubbling up at the moment. Lanning moves across, goes up and over the covers for another boundary. The ripple from the crowd comes again. Another boundary for Lanning. Her score goes up to 43. Lancashire 121 for 5. Polly, what do you make of that?
That is just a joke. You've got all those fielders on the offside, and Meg Lanning goes, "Oh, don't worry, just gonna put it over all of them." She's absolutely class.
Creating space. We sit back and watch this wonderful innings unfold. Lanning across and works that behind square, sweeps Hyam coming round. They'll come back for 2. And it's good running from Lanning. She goes up to 49. I think we're going to hear some roars from the crowd as she brings up her 50 here.
The crowd are getting loud.
Good support. Bank holiday weekend, sun is shining. Make your way to Emirates Old Trafford if you're in Manchester. It's a beautiful day. We don't often say that. It's not as in once again. Lanning moves across. She goes up an aerial, but it does drop into a big gap on the leg side. She brings up her 50. Little nod of the bat. First 50 for Lancashire. And a wonderful knock that's anchored the innings, 50 from 36.
A really warm applause from the crowd here today. Probably not the way she wanted to bring up her 50, but nonetheless, an important milestone.
Not into Lister. Lister clubs that down to long off for a single. Another good over for Lancashire. 9 from it, 125 for 5 with 3 remaining.
I'm so impressed by the way this pair have rebuilt. It was looking pretty bleak for Lancashire after the power play. They were struggling 33 for 4 and wickets just kind of kept falling, but Elsa Lister and Meg Lanning have really been the glue in this innings.
Yeah, Elsa Lister had a brilliant year last year in the Blast. She scored 281 runs, averaging 35, but her strike rate was 150, and that's what makes her different as a player. She comes out and hits the ball hard. So she's 34 off 23. So not only have they rebuilt here, they're both scoring boundaries, they're both creating pressure.
Grace Ballinger is going to bowl her final over from the Brian Statham end. Elsa Lister on strike, and she swipes at this. We'll just find 1. 126 for 5.
Just making a few field changes here. So long off has come up in the ring and she's sent cover out. Fielders out are cover, square, mid-wicket and long on.
Lanning chips this up in the air and it will fall between Sarah Bryce and Grace Ballinger.
Really well as Grace Ballinger, hasn't she?
Yeah.
She's giving Lanning no room whatsoever. You can see how laterally Lanning moves across the crease to try and create space, but Ballinger follows.
Ballinger running in and Lanning flicks this away in front of square. It'll just be 1. You could see the edge of Lanning's back kind of like twinkling in the sunlight. That's how bright it is today. There is not a cloud in the sky.
Change of field again for Lister. Long on, long off goes out, cover in.
Lister hoiking this all the way towards Emma Jones, who has to work hard on the boundary. Deep backward square.
They've been brilliant in the deep of Blaze. It's a great piece of work from Jones. Running to her right, diving forward to stop that. Not only stops it, they only get the single.
Yeah, it was a really clean piece of fielding. Lanning flicks this up in the air. It will fall safely and they'll just take one. Looking to continue to be explosive.
Boundaries are big here at Emirates Old Trafford, so we've seen a few twos, but we've seen great fielding out in the deep. What's worked for Ballinger so well here is she's taking all the pace off the delivery. She's only gone for 14 so far, with 1 over left in a spell.
Lister flicking this away, just a slash. Won't get a run. So that wraps up the over. 129 for 5 after 18. Meg Lanning 52 from 39 and Elsa Lister 36 from 26.
Yeah, wonderful over from Ballinger. To only go for 4 in the context of the game at the moment, both Lanning and Lister have been going at 10s and over previous to Ballinger coming on. She's really stemmed the flow there. 2 overs remaining. And by taking all pace off the ball, being so clear with her plans and being backed up by the fielders. Wonderful spell by Ballinger. 2 from 14 from her 4. And it'll be Catherine Bryce back in the attack for Blaze. Lanning on strike. Bryce has square, mid-wicket, long on, long off. And it hits Lanning's pad. They'll just go through for a single. Cramped her for all space, did Catherine Bryce there. Seem to be clawing it back to Blaze here, don't they, Polly?
Yeah, they're looking to just calm it down.
Lister tries to work that into the onside and gets a thick inside edge, just able to get the single.
I think what they're doing really well, particularly towards Lister, is just not letting her absolutely whack it on the leg side, which is what she does really well. And particularly in Ballinger's previous over, just really challenged her in that sense.
Lanning goes up and over extra. Another wonderful strike, creates space and accesses another boundary. Lanning goes early and shapes up and creates the power off a delivery that doesn't have a lot of pace on at all.
She is just so good. She did exactly enough, not any more than it was just absolutely perfect.
Bryce in, Lanning accesses the left side. It's a 6. It's a great strike. The slog sweep, and what was looking a tidy over from the Blaze has been hit for back-to-back boundaries by Lanning.
Meg Lanning is absolutely ruthless, and she will put anything away. We are watching a fantastic innings from Meg Lanning. You always hope this is the sort of innings that the overseas player, arrives in first game at home, and she's doing exactly that.
Bryce in once again, and Lanning strikes that straight to mid-wicket for a single. Yeah, there's a reason she is the best in the world. Carries so much silverware. Scored over 8,000 runs for Australia. It's a final delivery from Bryce. And Lister joins the party. It's going to race away to the boundary. Will it go all the way high and round? And I think the foot was on the rope there.
Yeah, I think her foot was touching as she flicked the ball away.
They'll just come back for 2. The umpires are going to have a chat here, because you can see her foot mark on the rope. We're watching it on the replay here. She runs round, and it's most definitely a boundary. But it will just be 2 on the scoreboard. That's poor from Lucy Hyam there. I think it was more than clear that her foot was on the rope. Bryce finishes her 4 overs for 29. Lancashire 144 for 5. It's been a wonderful rebuild by these two. Let's hope those 2 runs don't cost the game.
Yeah, it's one of those where it's like, okay, everyone can kind of see what happened other than the umpires, but when you know it's on TV, there are good cameras here as well. It's and also you can see the fact that the boundary rope has moved, so Yeah, it's a bit disappointing. You hope it won't actually be too impactful in the game, but you never know. With cricket, the margins can be so fine. So
particularly T20 cricket.
Oh,
the
100%.
margins are always so fine.
Yeah.
But that will be the last over from Catherine Bryce. She's bowled 3 overs, 0 for 29. And just to give some context on this total that's been set, Lister went out and Lancashire was 62 for 5. A serious partnership here from these two.
Charlie Phillips will bowl the final over for the Blaze. It's been swung away by Lanning. Will be cut off by Catherine Bryce, but they're going to push hard for 2.
Crowd love a 2.
Yeah.
I love that 2-2. Lister in and out. She knew there was 2, and if you want anyone on strike, you want Meg Lanning for the final over. Lister, who's striking at a knot as well, 39 from 28. You don't mind who's facing the ball, but when Meg Lanning is at the crease, you get yourself in and out. Brilliant from Lister.
Lanning this time straight down, back to Charlie Phillips. Now Lister scrambles back into her crease. Charlie Phillips has had an unbelievable start to the season. She was kind of in and out of the Blaze side last season, and this year has just been taking wickets for fun. Took 3 wickets against Yorkshire in the opening game of this competition, but throughout the One Day Cup was so effective. Meg Lanning continues on strike, and this has been chipped up in the air, and that will be 6. That is huge. What a shot from Meg Lanning. It's been shot after shot after shot today from the overseas player. She is absolutely on fire, and as we've been saying all day, there is a reason she is one of the best, if not the best, in the world. That was epic.
Sit back and admire that. Straights are up. It was always on. But to strike it like that.
We've got the best view in the house. Lancashire 152 for 5.
Same shots on again, but over mid-on. Will she take it on?
Charlie Phillips has gone for 8 from these 3 balls so far. Lanning, even bigger. That is humongous. And into the stands, probably about the 4th or 5th row back. That is incredible. Right in front of the hotel. And so nonchalantly just walks back to a crease. Yeah, I did that. Doesn't even crack a smile. That's quite something.
To back 6s. She moves right across the stumps. Slog sweep into the stand. What a great swing and strike. And even she sits back and admires that. Kirsty Gordon talking to Phillips. What's your plan here? Back-to-back 6s. Can Lanning do the triple? Can we see 6, 6, 6 here?
That would be quite something.
What a rebuild from Lancashire. Power play, they were 33 for 4. Little rebuild with Fee Morris, 62 for 5. And then when Lister has come in, we're going to see a 100 partnership here in T20.
Charlie Phillips looking to recover here as Meg Lanning high in the air. There is a fielder under, but it will drop and plug just before the boundary. But they're quick between the wickets. It will be 2. But another big shot, and there's a warm round of applause for Meg Lanning, because what she is doing today has this crowd in awe and inspired. It is quite an innings. Lancashire 160 for 5 with the final ball approaching. There's a bit of build-up from the crowd. Meg Lanning on strike. She's on 79. She goes big again. It will drop just short of Tammy Beaumont. They're going to push for 2. And what a fine innings from Meg Lanning. She finishes 81 not out from 49, and that brings up the 100 partnership from 59 balls between Meg Lanning and Elsa Lister, who have been instrumental in keeping this game alive. Lancashire looked almost dead and buried. They were going to be bowled out for maybe below 100 or even struggled to get there. But what they have done, that 100 partnership, has been absolutely mammoth. And Lancashire now 162 for 5. There are smiles as they're walking off because they know they have done something pretty important.
Yeah, outstanding from Meg Lanning. A pleasure to watch. It was unbelievable. And Lister played her hand as well. 39 from 28 deliveries. They brought up the 100 partnership. And when Lancashire looked like there wasn't much hope, the two of them re-established something special. They went from going at 6 and over to 10 and over. Clarity in plans, clarity in boundary options. It was brilliant.
It was so impressive, and I think the Blaze will be a little bit frustrated by the way they kind of lost the game at the end, in terms of they looked to get back into it, and they did that really well. Though it was that really good over from Grace Ballinger, then suddenly it kind of started slipping away again, and Elsa Lister and Meg Lanning were like, oh no, actually we're not going to let this slow down, we're going to accelerate again, and they kind of went into another gear, particularly Meg Lanning with those sixes. So yeah, it was such a fine innings from Meg Lanning, and Lancashire have really put themselves back into the game. It will be over to the bowlers here for Lancashire to try and get the job done on this gorgeous day for this double header. But as I mentioned at the start, the Blaze are such a good batting side, have so much depth and are really good at chasing. So there is kind of no obvious conclusion to this, and we'll have to wait till that second innings, but it's been a fine first innings that we've seen.
Yeah, it's a great score on the total. Meg Lanning 81 from 40.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back on the pitch our umpires for today, Ryan and Gareth Cross.
Welcome back to Emirates Old Trafford for the run chase. The run chase for the Blaze set 163 to win this game, thanks to a brilliant partnership between Meg Lanning and Ailsa Lister. Exactly 100 runs added between Lanning and Lister of just 59 deliveries, and that was breathtaking to watch by Meg Lanning at times. 81 not out from 49 deliveries, 9 fours and 3 sixes. And Lister's 39 from 28 balls with 3 fours and a 6. So a fabulous partnership, which has given Lancashire Thunder something to defend here. 162 for 5 from 20 overs. And I suspect amongst those Thunder players there'll be a renewed sense of optimism, because it was looking a little dicey. Certainly after the power play, it was looking particularly dicey. A score at 62 for 5 at the halfway stage, but 20 for 2, 30 for 3, 33 for 4, and then 62 for 5 at the halfway stage, and 162 looked a long, long way off, but a fabulous partnership between Lister and Lanning. Ellie Threlkeld, the skipper, in charge of the team talk in the players' huddle. Let's see how close the Blaze can get to 163, which would win them this fixture. Beaumont and Kelly to open the batting for the Blaze, who are on the back of a victory against Yorkshire in their opening game. Beaumont making 8 and Kelly making 29 in that game on Friday. The Blaze did win by 4 wickets. And now they've got to try and follow what was an absolutely breathless knock from Meg Lanning. Phoebe Graham's alongside me. We recovered from that.
What a way to finish the game. And you're right, it didn't feel like there was going to be much of an innings from Lancashire there, but Ailsa Lister came in and played such a wonderful knock to partner Meg Lanning, and the two of them put on a 100 partnership. So I think her hand in the innings as well was something not to go unrecognised, but brilliant to watch, and it brought the energy, didn't it, through the room, in the crowds.
He definitely did. Welcome back our Sports Extra listeners as well for this run chase as Norris is in. Blimey, that popped a bit. It's a lively ball sent down by Norris. Kelly just giving us a little clue there that bounced a little more than she was expecting. Blimey.
Yeah, serious zip off the pitch did that from Norris. Norris, who tends to left armour, swings it in to the right-hander. That one just carried on going straight and had some serious bounce and pace off the pitch.
As Tara Norris balls again onto the pads of Kelly. She fancied that. It may potentially just been sliding down the leg side. Kelly looking to whip it to the leg side. A good start by Tara Norris, right on the money here.
Well, Kelly has earned herself in this opening spot because she tends to go out really hard in the power play. So a nice line bolt by Norris there to make sure she can't access her hands. But with that, it meant it was too straight. It was sliding down leg, but great energy from the team first up.
Norris balls, and again, there's that little extra bounce. It's a terrific take by Ellie Threlkeld, the keeper, standing up. Fine work there. But just that little extra from Tara Norris. Super work from Ellie Threlkeld.
We saw this a little bit opening up with the Blaze seamers, that the pitch gave a little bit of extra bounce and it wasn't able to play beautifully cleanly, and it was coming onto the bat nicely, but it did have a bit of bounce.
Norris balls, and this time Kelly clears the infield on the offside. Comes back for the first runs for the Blaze in their run chase. 163 is their target to win, and they've got a couple so far. 2 without loss. Just a signpost to our listeners on Sports Extra, we've got live T20 cricket until just before 1 o'clock, then the French Open tennis from 1, and then there's commentary of the T20 International as well from 2 o'clock. That's pulled out towards the leg side by Kelly, fielded at mid-wicket, and there's no run. Coverage of this game via Lancashire TV, across the BBC Sport website, and on Sports Extra 3 right the way through until its conclusion, followed by the men's match as well a little bit later on. 4 o'clock start for Lancashire Lightning against the Notts Outlaws. But watching an outstanding opening over here by Tara Norris. Can she get through it without a boundary being conceded? Because fallen straight, and it's worked out towards the leg side. And just the 1 run. Super start by Norris. Thunder will be delighted with that, and I suspect Phoebe as well. That must have given the dressing room such a huge boost in confidence. At 60 for 5 at the halfway point, to have watched Lister and Lanning bat so beautifully, what a lift that would have been for everybody.
Yeah, it's the energy that they needed in their team, because when you back-to-back lose and you're in that streak of losing, that energy comes through you. So to finish the innings with back-to-back sixes, boundaries, it brings that extra confidence. And I think we saw that. That's the first time I've seen Tara Norris with ball in hand looking like the threatening left arm Tara Norris that we've seen many times before. So the sun, Meg Lanning, the back-to-back sixes, it's what's created it. And I think there's some energy in the team now that you can tell they believe that they're going to win this game. And that's a big mindset shift in T20 cricket. You've got to believe it when you walk out. You could feel that after the team huddle. Potts is into Kelly, who guides that to point. Carter does well, rolling and diving, but doesn't know where the ball has rolled to, so they do manage to come through for the single.
Like this as well, they've got a slip in place for Potts, so Meg Lanning's in at slip. So on the attack here, Thunder backing and supporting Potts with the slip catcher in place.
Yeah, I like this to Beaumont. She's been quite vulnerable first up. Has Beaumont throughout the season not had the start she'd have wanted, been left out the ODI series for England. But always a player with a point to prove. You don't want to be bowling it, as Potts is in and defended off the front foot by Beaumont for no run. You almost know players like that with the bit between the teeth can come out and do something special. She's a very, very good player. Got an excellent record for England domestically within the 100. Scored that 100 for Welsh Fire, first woman to ever bring up 100 runs in the 100 format. Potts is in. Beaumont advances down and defends. Lancashire 4 runs for no wickets. Got a slip in place. Point, cover, extra, open. Oh, slip's going out already. That's T20 cricket, isn't it? Changes are made instantaneously. Plays a 4 for no loss. 159 to win. Potts in once again. Beaumont advances down and guides that to point for a single.
Did well to quickly adjust there, didn't she, Tammy Beaumont, with Potts saw her coming down. Just adjusted her line, and Beaumont had to react to it and just drops it away into the offside for a single, gets off the mark.
Yeah, it was a smart piece of bowling, wasn't it? In the end, seeing Beaumont advance down, just making sure her length was that little bit shorter. Potts striding in from the Anderson end. Kelly moves across and it's straight into Jones's hands. It's a great take at short, fine leg. And that's the first wicket for Lancashire Thunder. Potts gets Kelly, caught for 4 runs, and Lancashire really are off to a flying start.
Probably a build-up of pressure, that, isn't it? To try to find a way to score. Kelly trying to improvise and going to manufacture a scoring shot, stepping across the stumps and looking to ramp it. But with the fielder Eve Jones in at short fine leg, then you're opening yourself up for getting yourself into a little bit of bother. But it's, I think, just a build-up of how well Lancashire have started with the ball. Right, where can we find the scoring shot here? Where can we try and get the innings going? The players back themselves, don't they, to clear fielders there. But if you don't quite get it right, and again, Potts just pushing it further wide as she saw Kelly going across the stumps, just couldn't then get the full connection on it. And a nice catch from Eve Jones. A good start here by Thunder with the ball.
Well, Kelly is much stronger in front of the bat. Behind square, she's not as strong, so she came across but didn't have the skill to be able to angle it. Potts cramped her, but that is build-up of pressure as Potts in again and worked off the back foot straight to Carter at point. And it's a great start by Lancashire. 5 for 1 off the first 2 overs.
Yes, it is a great start, and it's you're watching the players, how they're reacting here at the end of the over, in between overs, the way that they're moving. There's loads of energy about, isn't there? I mean, it's helped with the way that the innings ended with the bat for them, and it's obviously been backed up with the way that Norris and Potts have started with the ball. But you can just sense it, can't you? That little extra bit of energy and that belief, that confidence that the players have got here.
Yeah, you can feel it, and there's a great crowd in as well at Emirates Old Trafford, and they're helping with that atmosphere. More are pouring in. It's hot in this comms box as well.
It is.
We've yet to work out the air conditioning system.
Struggling with that a little bit. I had a quick look during the interval. Yeah, I'm lost.
In the press box on the second floor at Emirates Old Trafford, it's a nice airy feel, so we're missing a trick here somewhere.
It's Tara Norris. Balls to Tammy Beaumont. That's defended. And there's no... I mean, it's switched. It appears to be switched on, but doesn't really appear to be doing much.
We could easily be adding heat to the room right now.
That is possible as well. That is possible.
But I like this matchup between Norris and Beaumont. Beaumont struggles with the ball coming into her. So big LB opportunity.
Norris in. Balls just worked off the hip down to fine leg by Beaumont for a single. Doubles the score, moves on to 2. 6 for 1 in the third. Chasing 163 to win this fixture of the Blaze. Norris into her second over, bowling from the Brian Statham end, the player in the media centre end here. We're up on the third floor of this building, peering right down over the shoulder of Tara Norris. Keeper stood up again. Bryce on strike. Here's Norris. But behind square on the leg side for a single, just tickled away by Catherine Bryce. 7 for 1 into the third.
Catherine Bryce, part of the Scotland squad this summer for the T20 World Cup. She'll be going to the Tri-Series against the Netherlands, so we'll miss the next few games for the Blaze. But a very solid campaigner for the Blaze.
Norris balls to Beaumont, swatted out high towards the leg side. 6 for Tammy Beaumont. Been watching what Meg Lanning was doing a little earlier on, and Tammy Beaumont wants to join the party here. Lovely slog sweep for 6 over mid-wicket, 13 for 1.
Yeah, touchful from Norris, and a clean swing of the bat from Beaumont. Clears the rope. Wonderful strike. And with that, Norris changes the field. So no mid-wicket in now, and both fielders out on the deep. Square and mid-wicket. Morris a few yards in off the rope. It's big boundaries here.
There's Tara Norris, left arm over balls again, worked way off the pads by Beaumont, fielded at short fine leg. And there's no run. Polly Starkey's been having a little go at the controls. I feel like I can sense a little bit of a cool draft now.
I think we've had a genius.
Well done, Polly. Top work. I think we may have been putting heat into the room rather than taking it away. Sure, I can feel just a little bit of cool air now.
I could, yeah.
1 ball left in the third over. Norris balls again. Beaumont strikes again. Over long on, and then some. 6 again for Tammy Beaumont. Second 6 in the over. We've seen some brilliant batting today. And Tammy Beaumont is joining in with the fun. 19 for 1, 3 overs gone.
Lovely. Sit back and admire that by Beaumont. Strike down the ground. Wonderful. Over long on. And it really was a beautiful strike. So we'll see a change of bowler from the James Anderson end. Kate Cross will join the party. Potts' first over was brilliant, 2 runs for 1 wicket, but momentum has just gone back into the Blazes' court. They're 19 for 1 off their first 3. Beaumont hitting 2 sixes off that over from Norris. She's 14 from 8. Catherine Bryce on strike is just 1 from her 2. Cross has deep point, deep square in front, and she's in, and it's down the leg side. And it will be given a leg bye. It must have clipped the pads of Catherine Bryce.
You think to Lancashire's new T20 top?
Do you know, I quite like it.
I think I like it, yeah.
When I initially saw it, so it's red with fluorescent green and fluorescent navy stripes on. I wasn't sure. Cross in, and there's a big appeal for caught behind. It's gone down the leg side. It's come off the hip of Beaumont. Bowling very, very straight here is Kate Cross. Watch this back. It's just the keeper, Threlkeld, that goes up. Cross isn't convinced. You need some noise from everyone there to have half a chance of the umpire putting the finger up as Cross is in once again to Beaumont. And Beaumont slaps that up an aerial over mid-on. Doesn't clear fully. Potts does the work, tracking back. It's a battle here between the 2 former England teammates, Cross and Beaumont. She's just going up to have a chat with Lanning. How good that Kate Cross chatting to Lanning for advice. And with that, she brings a point up and sends out a deep mid-wicket. So still tempting Beaumont to go straight up and over. But she's looking very wristy and playing through the ball is Beaumont today, as Cross is in from the Anderson end. And Beaumont works that to mid-on. They take a quick single to Potts. Change of field once again. So for Bryce, who likes to guide it through point, have the deep fielder at Darcy Carter in point, Seren Smale in front of square, Cross in, and that's driven to mid-off. A great piece of fielding from Norris, who almost over-attacked the ball there, but the press box was busy earlier, went down. There was Chris Schofield, Kyle Hogg, Mick Newell.
Nice.
Lots of people watching and the game as Cross in once again, advances down, does Bryce. But Morris comes in and does the work at mid-wicket. Good over from Cross, 3 from it. The Blaze are 23 for 1 from their 4. Power play is in the balance at the moment.
It is, isn't it? Yeah. That over from the Beaumont hit Norris for a couple of sixes. Certainly an over that the Blaze needed to get themselves going in this run chase. But aside from that, Lancashire will be pretty pleased with how they've bowled so far here. I see Potts returning. He's going to replace Norris. Potts having sent down 1 over from the Anderson end. It's a 4 gone, 23 for 1. Target of 163 to win. This opening fixture of today's T20 doubleheader. Tammy Beaumont, 17 not out, having hit 2 sixes in the last over. Goes again. Has she got enough to clear mid-off? She has. It'll bounce over the rope and it will be 4. Beaumont finding ways to continue to score here. She's 21 not out, 27 for 1 now as we start the 5th over.
Yeah, another lovely shot there by Beaumont. Advances down the track. Potts gives her a little bit of width. She's able to go up and over mid-off without any worries. And you can see the swing of a bat. She looks in flow today, does Tammy Beaumont.
Key wicket for Thunder to try and get. Beaumont this time pulls it off her hip down towards backward square leg for 4 more runs. She's chipped one down the ground for 4. She's pulled one behind square for 4. Lancashire Thunder to Beaumont in particular at the minute can't quite find the answer. 31 for 1.
No, back-to-back boundaries from Beaumont. And you've seen a previous boundary. She's been looking to advance down the wicket, use the pace of the ball. But she does well there. She knows Potts is going to go into the wicket. She sits deep in a crease, and as does Potts go deep in, does go into the wicket, and she just guides it round the corner for 4.
Potts back in, balls again, swatted over Kate Cross at mid-on, and it's a hat-trick of boundaries, 3 on the spin to start the over. Beaumont looks in pretty ominous form here for Lancashire Thunder. She's 29 not out. It's 35 for 1.
Yeah, she's taking full advantage of this power play as Beaumont. And we spoke before, the ball's coming onto the bat nicely, particularly in the power play. I think we saw it slow up a little bit and it be a bit more two-pace throughout the innings. But she's taking advantage of these first 6 overs, which was something that Lancs couldn't capitalise on because of losing so many wickets. We're seeing a change here again, so Cross goes out to long on. Got a deep mid-wicket, square leg comes into the ring.
Halfway through the 5th over, 35 for 1. Potts in the balls, Beaumont leaning into it, pushes the ball away into the offside. And there's no run. I did enjoy watching those little conversations there with Kate Cross coming up to speak to Grace Potts. Tara Norris came across to have a little word as well. It's working together, isn't it? The bowlers working together.
Bowlers union is what you call it.
Bowlers union, Phoebe.
Absolutely. Well, you need a pause sometimes. 3 back-to-back boundaries.
35 for 1. Potts in again. Beaumont down the pitch. Has she got enough to clear the fielder? She has. It'll run away for 4 down to third man. It's not where Beaumont's aiming, but she swung pretty hard. Thick edge, looped over short third down to the boundary, and another 4 for Beaumont. 39 for 1.
Well, when it's in your favour, it's in your favour. Beaumont with some strong intent, and with that gets a thick outside edge that clears the ring of third. It's not a bad ball by Potts. You can see Norris coming over, that bowler's union mentality, having a word with her. That wasn't Potts's poorly executed bowl. It was Beaumont that managed to get a bit of luck.
Ball left to the 5th over. Beaumont will push it into the offside and get through for a single. Brilliant batting from Tammy Beaumont. 4 fours in the over, and then the final ball, it'll push into the offside, get through for 1, keep the strike. Nicely done. Game's nicely set too as well, isn't it? 5 overs gone. Target is 163. Beaumont looks in fine fettle. The Blaze are 40 for 1 after 5, Phoebe. I'll leave you and Polly Starkey will come and join you.
Yeah, they've quickly moved up to the required run rate after the past 2 overs. Beaumont 34 off 17. She's been so destructive. I think she's watched how Meg Lanning has bat and fancied a piece of that. 40 for 1 off 5 at the Blaze. Beaumont 3 fours off the previous over to Potts. 4 fours off the previous over to Potts. 17 off that last over from Potts. Cross, the experienced Kate Cross, into the attack to try and counter Beaumont, who's landed the first punches for the Blaze against Lancashire's. Cross into the wicket, and Beaumont slog sweeps that all the way over the ropes for 6. She's on a mission today, Polly.
There's no respect. She is just absolutely putting everything away. And the thing is, she'll know that someone's going to have an innings like Meg Lanning. Someone's got to match that if the Blaze want to win this. And she's stepping up and saying, yeah, I'm going to give it a good crack. And yeah, she is 40 from 18, which is pretty menacing. I would like to say that, yes, I did fix the aircon, but I just read the instructions. Which I think Scott maybe failed to do. So I didn't do anything special.
Sometimes all it takes is cross in once again. Beaumont tries to carve that off the back foot, but doesn't go any further than cover. So change of field once again. There's a deep square, deep mid-wicket, all in on the offside. Toughest over to bowl, they say, the 6th in the power play. The ball doesn't have the same shape, the same movement, and when you've got a set batter like Beaumont in, it's cross in and it's worked into the leg side. It'll cut the 2 fielders. And that's another boundary for Beaumont. She moves up to 44 off 20 deliveries. The Blaze are 50 for 1 now. They're having a wonderful power play.
The Blaze have brought up their 50 and Tammy Beaumont is just absolutely firing. And the thing is, if she gets out in the next couple of balls, it doesn't really matter because the damage has already been done. She's been so important already at the top of the order.
Cross in and Beaumont works off the back foot. And it goes straight to cover for no run. 50 for 1.
A rare dot ball. There have been 2 dot balls in the over, but the over's still gone for 10 so far, which says enough about how Tammy Beaumont is playing.
Cross just sending Morris all the way to the ropes as Beaumont works that into the leg side. Cheeky punch into mid-wicket that's a vacant area for 1 run. And Catherine Bryce at the other end, just 1 off 5 deliveries, has sat back and enjoyed that. Beaumont signalling for the gloves. I won't change anything, Tammy.
Yeah, don't change anything at this point. Even if they're sweaty, just deal with it. Yeah, Catherine Bryce has been stood waiting around. She's had a great view to watch all of those shots, but I'm sure she's keen to actually face a few more balls.
Well, another change in the field here. So Morris comes in from mid-wicket. Carter sent out to deep point. And Bryce works that through to third. Carter, full stretch dive. It's a wonderful piece of work. And Jones fires in. They'll come back for 2. But Carter covers some ground there. And those runs are all important runs to save. And Lancashire will be very thankful that they're out of the power play. 53 runs scored from the power play off the 6 overs. There was the initial wicket of Mary Kelly from Grace Potts. But it's Tammy Beaumont, England international, that's done the damage. 45 from 22 deliveries. She's having some day out here, Polly.
Yeah, we've been absolutely treated to a mega performance in the first innings from Meg Lanning, and now we're getting a similar one from Tammy Beaumont, who has just absolutely fired from ball 1. She has been outstanding so far. 45 from 22. It's quite something. Whether Hannah Jones can calm that down is something Lancashire will be wondering, as she's brought in as the bowling change from the Brian Statham end. Bring some spin into the attack as that's been worked into the leg side by Beaumont on the ground. Starts with the single.
Well, this is the period that Lancashire want to get into now. So 4 fielders allowed out on the boundary outside the power play. We've now entered the 7th over. So Jones utilising all 4 of those fielders. The key here will be bowling as many balls as possible at Catherine Bryce and trying to contain Beaumont.
Bryce slaps that down the ground. It will be... Oh, that should have been cut off. That should have been a really easy cut off, but Elsa Lister has let that go for 4.
It looked like she lost her footing in the deep, did Lister.
She was right on to get it and just kind of slipped, and it went... She kind of overran almost as she went to go down the ground from Bryce. It will just be the 1.
And that has been a big difference in teams winning and losing, is the fielding performance. So hopefully that's just one minor hiccup that can happen from Lancashire, because the Blaze were outstanding.
Slapped again, away by Beaumont, and that'll be 4. That brings up Tammy Beaumont's 50 from 24 balls. It has been a sensational innings from Tammy Beaumont. She is absolutely rocketed for the Blaze, and she is not looking like slowing down anytime soon. She has taken on bowler after bowler, and the Blaze now need 100 to win from 80 balls as Hannah Jones continues, and that's been swept away by Beaumont. Will be cut off and she'll be satisfied with the single. But it's just been such an impressive innings to watch, and yeah, Tammy Beaumont's batted with such ease.
She enjoyed it as well. Big smile from Beaumont when she brought up the 50, and that was just fun for her.
Punched away by Catherine Bryce, and that will be another boundary. The boundaries are absolutely flowing for the Blaze at the moment, and Tammy Beaumont is very enthusiastically calling for some new gloves. It is roasting out there, and she's been really putting the hard yards in. I think also for Tammy, she's been someone who's been out of the England T20 side kind of from around 2022, hasn't been consistently involved in those squads, but actually she hasn't let her T20 game dip. She's been so consistent at domestic level, and I think this is one of those innings where she's just showing the quality she has. You mentioned her innings in the 100 a couple of years ago for Welsh Fire, and it's those sort of performances where she's such a quality player. Of course, that England time in T20s is over, but what she can do for the Blaze and the impact she can have here is absolutely brilliant.
Well, what you don't want to do is tell a player like Tammy Beaumont that you're not good enough, your strike rate isn't good enough for T20 cricket, because that becomes a sole focus for her training. And you could see that she broke back into the England T20 team after that 100 for Welsh Fire, and she's made it a clear work on us in her strike rate, her swing, her clarity in the top of the order on boundary options, and that's why she's 51 off 25 and enjoyed that knock. That's what I love the most, is the big grin from Beaumont when she raised her bat. That's a good ball from Carter, is it? Just guides in past the off stump. Big swipe from Beaumont. The Blaze 68 from 1, ahead of the run rate here. Carter in, and it's worked off the back foot, and it's beats extra cover. It beats Eve Jones. Oh, Meg Lanning out in the deep doing the work. I think Lancashire have given Beaumont some width here today, though. All offside fielder here. She's got to bowl a tight line as Carter. She's in past the umpire once again, and then Beaumont slaps that down to long off for a single.
Yeah, I do think we've seen some poor fielding from Lancashire. There have been a couple of moments, that Darcy Carter save right on the boundary was brilliant, but there have been some sloppy moments that just allows the Blaze to feel a little bit more comfortable in nicking ones or twos.
Carter drags that short, and that's punished through mid-wicket. Catherine Bryce now joining the party. And that is her bag, is that shot. Anything short, she's so comfortable working through the onside. And she hits it with some power.
The Blaze really didn't let the momentum run away from them at the back end of the innings, in terms of, Lancashire were absolutely firing, and the Blaze have come into this innings as if that didn't happen, and they've just focused on what they need to do, and Tammy Beaumont has obviously been the main source of that. But I think it's really fascinating to see the way they've gone about this innings.
Carter into the wicket and worked out to square leg for a single. Crowd getting behind the oohs and the ahs now. There's a few in. The only place that has shade at Emirates Old Trafford is underneath the point, so we're seeing a few hundred fans congregated in the shade. Carter coming round the wicket to Beaumont. Bat high in the air from Beaumont as Carter in, and it's Boulder. Off stump gone. It's the wicket Lancashire needed. 76 for 2, the Blaze. Beaumont cleaned up after a fantastic innings. So destructive. 54 from 28. Has she done enough damage, Polly?
I think thing with Tammy Beaumont is she came out absolutely whacking it, and her strike rate was so epic that I think the damage is done in terms of what she did at the top of the order. It's whether her teammates lower down the order can support and not necessarily replicate what she did, but you know, put in a decent shift. You saw the kind of Darcy Carter 2 fists celebrating such an important wicket. And I mean, if Tammy Beaumont had stayed there, then I think she could have absolutely run away with the game. This is a little bit of a turn. It makes things interesting. But saying that, Catherine Bryce is, you know, when she's rarely had the strike, she's been pretty forceful too, and strong. And you've got Georgia Elwes coming in, who is such a gifted batter and so strong, and just one of those players that just keeps going. And the Blaze have a lot of depth, which will be very much to their advantage.
Kept low that as well, didn't it? Hit the middle of off stump.
Hannah Jones is the change of bowler and starts with a dot ball. 76 for 2.
They've taken the game on of the Blaze and got ahead of the run rate early, which you want from your opening batters.
This one struck down the ground by Catherine Bryce, just for 1.
It all of a sudden puts the game into a much simpler run chase, only requiring 7.3 and over, with 2 very calm heads at the crease in Catherine Bryce and Georgia Elwes.
It was never a huge total, but actually what Tammy Beaumont's done at the top of the order has really made this a lot simpler. That's been guided away by Georgia Elwes to get off the mark. 78 for 2.
Yeah, they got her at the right time, Tammy Beaumont. She looked like she was on for a humongous score there. A bit unfortunate with the bounce, but we've seen it be a bit too pace this wicket.
Worked into the leg side by Catherine Bryce. We'll just take 1.
Hannah Jones in her second over, who's punished whilst Beaumont was on the crease, but seems to have got into a better rhythm and flow now. Just 3 off her over so far.
Elwes comes down the track and nudges it into the leg side. We'll just be rotating the strike here, so good from Hannah Jones, just conceding 4 so far from this over. 80 for 2 the score. Once again on the offside. And that will be 9 overs gone, 81 for 2.
Well, that wicket brings the game back into the mix. Blaze are certainly in the driving seat. 81 for 2 off 9. Current run rate is 9 and over. Required is 7.5. So they need 82 from 66 balls. Bringing more spin into the attack at Lancashire. Change of bowling here from Carter, so they'll bring Fee Morris into the attack. And the off spinner will be coming over the wicket. No, she won't. She'll be coming round the wicket. So bowling that nice tight line that we see in T20 cricket. So often we see off spinners coming round the wicket in T20 cricket. They haven't got those magical bouncers, googlies, and just decepting the batters with flight and bowling that tight line. So long on, long off, mid-wicket, square leg as Fee Morris is into the attack. And that's worked down to long on for a single by Bryce. Challenge with this field is that it's so simple to rotate. Lancashire have to make sure they don't go for boundaries. So Morris to Elwes, she's 2 from 2. It's been some wonderful displays of batting today. So Morris is in again, advances down, does Elwes. Looks like it's hit the gap, but Cross comes round and does a great piece of work, diving, rolling. And one bounce into Threlkeld. The crowd like it as well. There's a ripple from these fans here. You can feel when Lancashire are getting back into the game. There's a real home support here. Emirates Old Trafford, sun blazing down, blue skies. Morris in, advances down again, does Elwes. Doesn't find the gap, but out to Smale in the deep, and that'll just be a single.
Spin is seeming a lot more effective for Lancashire as an option just to slow that run rate. Of course, the wicket of Tammy Beaumont helps as well.
Morris is in, darts that in much quicker, and it's shuffled off her pads by Bryce. I agree, but I think through the middle phase, seamers looked like they were more likely to take wickets, and to win this game, you need to take wickets. You can't control the game when you need 77 off 62 deliveries. So we'll see who Threlkel goes to next, but Morris in and drags that short, so it's worked out into the deep once again by Elwes. I don't think Blaze will mind a quiet over, but they've still managed to get 6 from it. Final ball of the over by Morris. An advance down, and it's taken by Cross, backwards roly-poly. In the deep, it's the full toss that gets the wicket once again. And we said they needed wickets, did Lancashire. Morris laughing, looking down. It's not the prettiest delivery, but it's the wicket they needed. 87 for 3. Catherine Bryce departs for 22.
Well, the roly-poly was just the cherry on top. That was a fantastic bit of fielding. Made a slight meal of it, but yeah, as we were saying, wickets are needed, and Lancashire will be absolutely chuffed with that. It doesn't matter how you get the wicket. If you get the wicket, then it's what it is. Brilliant replay.
I think it's Alex Hartley's favourite stat from 5 or 6 years ago that was 1/3 of all wickets get full tosses. I don't know if that stands true now, but
yeah, 33% of full tosses circa 2020.
But it still seems to work. They'll stick with spin, will Lancashire. It'll be Hannah Jones from the Brian Statham end. But it's the wicket that brings the game back into contention at the halfway point. 87 for 3 are the Blaze, and they need 76 to win from 60 balls. We'll leave you with Dave Bracegirdle and Scott Reed.
Thank you, Phoebe. Polly. Set the game up beautifully now. These two sides, first ball of the 11th over goes for a boundary. Georgia Elwes driving Hannah Jones down the ground for 4. Terrific knock earlier in the day from Meg Lanning. Tammy Beaumont trying to reply in kind for the Blaze, out recently for 54. The Blaze got 25 ahead at the halfway stage, but one of their big guns has gone. This is one that's dragged down the leg side. Threlkel has grabbed it, whipped off a bail. Just asking the opinion of the umpire. Georgia Elwes down on a knee. And Gareth Cross. Two umpires are going to have a little chat here about things. Lancashire believe they've got Georgia Elwes here, I think.
They do, don't they? They've got together to celebrate this.
Oh, she's dragged it back on, hasn't she?
She has.
And has to go. Georgia Elwes will be absolutely livid. She didn't have any luck. Oh, any bad luck, she'd have no luck at all there, because she's just put her bat down, really just to keep her balance, and she's just nudged the ball back onto her leg stump and a bail dropped off. Lancashire celebrated. They obviously knew what had happened. Don't think any of us or anybody inside the ground, outside the boundary ropes, could have seen that. We just needed the zoom in there. from our excellent camera and production crew just to see what happened. A really extraordinary dismissal.
Yeah, very, very unusual to see that, isn't it? Just trickle back onto the stumps, and then you saw the bail just deflect off, but it came off a bat, didn't it? Yeah, off a bat, and then inadvertently off a bat. That little touch there. She was grounding her bat to make sure she wasn't going to be stumped, and in the process of doing that, knocks the ball onto the stumps.
If she'd been a fraction of a second slower, Ellie Threlkeld would have picked the ball up anyway, and it wouldn't have been an issue for her. Sarah Bryce is in at number 6, and well, I would say it's a split call right now. Who's on top here? Little push into the offside from Sarah Bryce, no run. Charlie Knott at the other end, she hasn't faced. Sarah Bryce's first ball, 72 required from 58. Momentum swing in favour of Lancashire as Sarah Bryce gets herself off the mark, pushing this out to Darcy Carter on the offside. She'll take a single.
Yeah, sometimes that bit of good fortune can be could be a pivotal moment in the run chase, couldn't it? The dismissal of Beaumont, for obvious reasons, but I mean, she looks so good today. That was a significant breakthrough for Thunder. They had to get Beaumont.
Never ceases to amaze me how far Tammy Beaumont can hit a cricket ball. This is defensively played by Knott. There might be a ball behind there. Must have had the 6. Anyway, over has been called. 92 for 4, both in the ground on the scoreboard and on the live stream. I think they're just showing that it's possibly only a 5-ball over, but I don't think they're going to be turning them back round. Or are they? The two umpires are chatting. They are indeed. They're going to turn them round. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Can we go back to your places? And you got to count to 6.
Yeah.
One job. It's a high pressure role. I wouldn't want to fancy standing out there all day. 92 for 4. I wonder what Hannah Jones can do with this final ball of her 3rd over. She's got figures of 1 for 25. Everybody back in their previous places. Those that are doing long on and long off to long on and long off aren't too enamoured by that decision. So we're back where we are. Charlie Knott on strike. Yet to score. The Australian down the leg side, and that'll have to be bowled as well. Or re-bowled. Leg side wide. Extraordinary over. Began with the Blaze 87 for 3. And now 93 for 4. An extraordinary dismissal. This is dropped on the leg side for a single. Knots off the mark. 94 for 4 after 11. Hannah Jones accepts the generous round of applause for a wicket-taking over. She didn't know too much about it, I don't think. I don't know if you saw the Surrey-Middlesex match yesterday. One of the Middlesex players, did you see that hit wicket? Can't recall who it was now. Went through with a drive, bat came out of his hands, and usually when a batter hits the ball, it'll disappear. If it comes out of his hands, it'll go off to cover or mid-wicket or wherever. Straight up in the air, came back down on the stumps, out hit wicket. The bowler doesn't get that one anymore. They used to, but it's now just out hit wicket. Extraordinary.
Yeah, that is a bit bizarre, that, isn't it? To think of that dismissal like that. Fee Morris to send down over number 12 of the innings, 94 for 4. Charlie Knott's on strike. And Morris bowls. That's driven away through the offside. The gap through cover. Takes a single.
Blaze are 20 runs ahead of where Lancashire were at the same stage, but of course then, you know, up stepped Meg Lanning. Exactly 100 runs scored from the last 10 overs. Just phenomenal stuff, wasn't it? Great partnership.
Yeah, century partnership between Lanning and Lister. Conversation with Fee Morris and Ellie Threlkeld, Thunder's captain. Change of angle here for Fee Morris. He's going to bowl over the wicket. Sarah Bryce on strike. 95 for 4. There's an edge down towards third. And Hannah Jones just catch up with it. 2 more for Bryce, but the edge just past the reach of the keeper. So pushing towards 3 figures here, the Blaze. 97 for 4. 66 to win, 52 balls left. Fee Morris for Lancashire. In and balls. Down the pitch comes Bryce. That's pushed up towards mid-off. Shy at the stumps at the bowler's end. Fee Morris making sure she caught the return throw, just in case. A little pondering. Coming back for a second. 98 for 4. Bryn's not on strike.
Looked very good on Friday, got a half century against Yorkshire, the first innings for the Blaze.
Morris balls to Knott. Just dragged out towards the leg side. Fizzed in by Kate Cross. Single for Knott. Takes her to 3, 99 for 4. So a single, a 2, and a single and a single so far from this Fee Morris over. 1 for 11 from her 1.4 overs. Balls to Bryce. Takes a single to mid-on. Moves to 5. That does bring up the 100 for the Blaze. 100 for 4 with the delivery left of the 12th over. Morris spins the ball from one hand to the other. And she's into to Knott. Knott, can she clear the infield? No, she's caught at backward point by Hannah Jones. And Knott departs for 3, and Lancashire Thunder keep chipping away here. They've got Knott, the Blaze 5 down. Knott's gone for 3. Morris gets her second 2 for 12.
I think that's a huge momentum shifter now, very firmly in favour of the Red Rose. Charlie Knott brought in as Blaze overseas player, replacing Orla Prendergast, the Irish international who played the first half of the season in the Metro Bank competition. Knott's departure means the top order has effectively now been blown away. A lot now being asked of the batters to come. Emma Jones coming in at 7. Blaze made 1 change today, and it was bringing in a bowler for effectively a batter. Grace Ballinger coming in for Ella Claridge. So a lot going to be asked of the lower order. As Phoebe Graham just said a few minutes ago, it's going to be all about taking wickets here. The Thunder need to keep chipping away. If the Blaze bat until the end of the innings, until the end of the 20th over, they're not going to be far away. That's for certain, but their momentum's going to keep getting stalled if they lose wickets like that. Those last 3 wickets have gone very cheaply in quick succession. 100 for 5 after 12. Same stage. Lancashire was 73 for 5. This one's eased down the ground for a single. Hannah Jones continuing. Difficult matchup to make comparisons, isn't it, because of what Meg Lanning did late on, and particularly that final over which went for 18. Absolutely smote the ball for a succession of 4s and 6s during those latter overs. So Emma Jones to face her first ball. She's taken guard, right-hander. 4 in the ring on the offside. Drilled back to Hannah Jones. Again round the wicket, left arm spinner. This is played nicely towards deep mid wicket. Good bit of fielding on the fence there by Fee Morris. Saved a couple of runs there, for all the world as if it was going to be a boundary, but Morris with a tumble turn keeps them to 2.
Yeah, excellent work by Fee Morris. Get across the ground to her left hand side. Looked like 4, didn't it?
Jones in again. Attempted slog sweep, LBW shout here, turned down. No opportunity to pinch your leg by either. Second prize is the dot ball, isn't it, if you don't get the wicket? Lovely day, baking hot. Next ball driven just to the offside of straight. Nice sliding stop down here by Tara Norris. Keeps the Blaze to a single. .104 for 5. 59 required from 43. Sarah Bryce, run a ball 6. Pushes this through point. Let's run the first one quickly. It's going to come back for second. In comes the throw. And she just had to get the afterburners on there just to make sure she got home, Sarah Bryce. Did in the end. 57 required from 42. The Blaze 106 for 5 from 13 if you weren't with us earlier. Lancashire Thunder at the halfway stage were in all sorts of trouble. 62 for 5. And they finished 162 for 5. Terrific knock from Meg Lanning, former Australia skipper, making 81 not out. Elsa Lister, 39 not out, sharing a really punchy partnership with her, which this crowd very much enjoyed. It's certainly given us a game, which, say at 60 odd for 5, didn't look like happening, did it?
No, it was a sensational partnership, wasn't it? It's, from the position that Lancashire were in at that stage when they came together to how they finished their innings was pretty spectacular. Brilliant to watch. Be a real treat watching Meg Lanning bat this summer for Lancashire Thunder. Jones on strike. It's Fee Morris into Jones, driven straight. Fielded by Morris off her own bowling. There's no addition to the score. Morris balls again, swept out towards the leg side, out towards deep mid-wicket, and she'd managed to find a gap between a couple of fielders out on the leg side boundary there. 4 for Jones. Score moves to 110 for 5.
Big playing area actually, isn't it? A lot of ground to try and cover on that leg side. If you can bisect the fielders like Jones did there, fair chance of reaching the rope.
Balls, it's a bit flatter and quicker, and it's, I think, driven down on the bounce back to Morris, who then has a shy at the stumps towards the bowler's end. Got through for a single. Jones moves to 8.
Yeah, she looks disappointed, Fee Morris. I don't know if that was...
It was a bump ball, but
I thought it was a bump ball, yeah. So it's probably disappointment from missing with the throw. Yes, certainly that's played down into the ground, wasn't it?
111 for 5. Morris bowls to Bryce. That's pulled out towards the leg side. Oh, they've come back for 2. Throw comes in. Could be a tight second. Nice to make the ground. I need all these runs here at the Blaze, trying to force ones into 2s. Bryce moves on to 10. Score to 113 for 5. 2 balls left of the 14th over. It's Morris who's in and bowling a full toss, which she's pulled out towards the leg side. Gathered by Carter. Just one more to the total. 114 for 5.
Missed out a little bit there, didn't she? Waist high full toss.
Final ball of the 14th over. Jones waits. Morris for Lancashire in and bowls. Hits it down the ground. It's in the air towards long off. Takes a catch. Terrific catch as well. Morris gets another wicket. Her 3rd. And now 6 down the Blaze. And look at the reaction of the Thunder players. They sense a real opportunity here now. They keep chipping away. 114 for 6 at the end of the 14th.
Yeah, hugely important match this for both sides, of course. Lancashire losing to Surrey on Friday evening. Blaze started with a win against Yorkshire. It could all be back in the balance. Lancashire get over the line here. That's a very good catch in the deep from Tara Norris. Never easy, dying on her. She was rushing in from long off and did really well. Got her hands down nice and low, nice and early. Took the catch comfortably. Kirsty Gordon on her way out to the middle. Blaze running out of specialist batters. Lucy Hyam, Grace Ballinger, Charlie Phillips remain in the hutch. 114 for 6 after 14. Blaze still 18 runs ahead of where Lancashire were, but it's all going to flip-flop round in a moment when we start to do the matchups with those big overs that Meg Lanning had. Sarah Bryce really needs to be there at the end now for the Blaze if they're to really challenge this total. Kate Cross coming back. Good from the Lancashire skipper, go with their most experienced bowler. Anna Jones out of the attack, 4 overs, 1 for 33, her allocation. Here's Cross. Bowls a ball which just took the pace off a little bit, and Sarah Bryce, I think, picked it early, waited for it, turned it to mid-wicket for a single. So Kirsty Gordon, Blaze skipper, Scottish international. One of the players away on World Cup duty in the next few days. Switch back to the country of birth. This is down the leg side, well taken by Ellie Threlkeld. Whipped off a bail for good measure. Gordon hadn't gone anywhere, but it's the leg side wide. And the Blaze need 47 from 35.
Yeah, only one bowler out, which is Hannah Jones. 4 overs, 1 for 33. This is Kate Cross's 3rd over. 2 left for Grace Potts, 2 left for Tara Norris.
Cross into her 3rd. After that wide, she gets her line right here. On a round off stump, just shading away a fraction, and Kirsty Gordon off the mark, just playing it into the space on the offside through point. 1-7 for 6. Thunder made 162 for 5. Cross in again, hit back over her head. A little bit of a slap about that shot from Sarah Bryce. Gone down the ground, she'll get a couple of runs. Fielded by Grace Potts. Nice sliding stop, which again gets a very generous round of applause.
Crowd, isn't it? Grown through the course of the morning.
Yeah, and they've, you know, from the very off really, they've bought into this, haven't they? They've enjoyed the Lancashire fight back from 62 for 5. Cross in once more, nicely cut away by Sarah Bryce. She's just starting to tick over nicely. 15 from 12, 120 for 6. The Blaze need 43 from 32, but they've only got 4 wickets left. Cloud in the sky, baking hot. As Cross bowls short of a length again, pulled away by Kirsty Gordon. Out to mid-wicket for a single. Fee Morris doing the fielding. So it's going to be a really exciting last 5 overs. 42 required at the moment. Cross in again, bowls, and this is cut away. Took the aerial route, just waited for it, lifted it deliberately there. Over backward point and away for 4. Precious boundary to the Blaze. 11 from that over. Really good game set up here to talk you home. Back alongside Phoebe Graham.
It certainly is. 38 required off the final 5 overs. The Blaze are 125 for 6. The game is in the measure. You can feel that. The atmosphere in the crowd today, there's a good, I'd say, at a guess, couple of thousand in at Emirates Old Trafford. And you can feel this is going to be a good game of cricket, Polly Stark.
Yeah, it's going to be a fantastic game of cricket. It's going to go down to the wire, I suspect. I've just been keeping an eye on the required run rate and the current run rate for the last couple of overs, and it hangs really nicely in the balance. We've had a little bit of everything today. I've just loved the batting we've seen. We've been really treated to Meg Lanning and Tammy Beaumont, seeing some of the all-time greats with the bat. And as you say, the crowd have been amazing today. There's a really nice atmosphere that's built and a real excitement, and I imagine the majority of people here backing Lancashire for the win, as the Blaze require 38 to win from the final 30 balls.
Well, Morris to Gordon. Gordon punches that straight back to her. Morris unusually bowling 4 in a row. You don't often see that in T20 cricket. But she's taken 3 wickets for 20 runs so far. Been really effective. She's in once again, and Gordon works off the back foot, and it's a standing sweep, we'll call that, into mid-wicket for a single.
Spinners definitely work quite well for Lancashire, which has been interesting. Of course, Fee Morris picking up those 3 wickets, which has been so beneficial for the home side.
Coming over the wicket to Bryce, who clips that through to mid-wicket for a single. 37 required off 28 balls. Blaze move up to 127 for 6. It's a serious game of cricket on our hands. For those listening, it's going to be a great final 4.5 overs here. Morris in and worked up and through extra. Potts is out there. She does cover a lot of yards out there. They come back for 2. She didn't get all of it, did Gordon, but she found the gap nicely.
Yeah, Grace Potts push hard there to cut it off, and we've seen the Blaze being really good at pushing for 2s, and that will count for everything in these final overs.
Morris in again to Gordon, who works that straight back to Morris for no run. A ripple for the dot from the crowd. Kirsty Gordon does far too much damage at number 8. She's a brilliant competitor and lives for these situations. As Morris in, Gordon works that to short third, and they take a single to Jones. Scoreboard goes up to 130 for 6 with 4 overs remaining. The Blaze require 33 to win. Gordon on strike, 6 from 7. Bright at the other end, 20 from 14. It's a beautiful day, and it's set for a great game of cricket.
I think the Blaze will be pretty happy to have Kirsty Gordon at the crease. She is just so built for this situation. She's done it so many times in the 50 over game, and of course occasionally you might need to be a little bit more explosive in this situation, but if you want someone with all that grit and that passion, Kirsty Gordon is the #1 person for that job, and she'll be so keen to get her team over the line before she departs for the World Cup, and has to leave the Blaze to get on with it, really.
Yeah, she's not the most skilled batter, but what she does is squeeze every little bit of skill out of her and thrives off competition. So this is what she's built for, is this situation, but there'll be change of bowler with Potts into the attack.
Potts running in now with Gordon on strike. There's a slight shout. It's nudged round off the hip onto the leg side.
Yeah, Potts has the field, deep cover, long on, mid-wicket, square, all in the deep. Rest of the fielders are in your standard ring field positions. She took the wicket early on of Marie Kelly. Did Potts in the 2nd over of the game.
Sarah Bryce having a swing. It's signalled a wide, which is really not something Lancashire want at this stage. Don't want to have to bowl that extra delivery. 31 to win from 23 balls is the equation.
I'd be tempted with Bryce to have a deep point. She's so good through point and backward point.
Bryce nudges this into the leg side down the ground. Will quickly run 1, and we'll stick with that. So the score 133 for 6, 30 to win from 22 balls.
Spoken about both Bryce sisters in bowling plans is don't give them any width off stump is width to those two players. So
Potts once again, and Kirsty Gordon tries to ramp it. Unsuccessful. It's through to Ellie Threlkeld.
Well, she's got it in the locker, has Kirsty Gordon. She doesn't play it a lot, but it's a good boundary option. Both fine and third are up in the ring, so if you can get something on that when Potts is bowling pace on, it's a good option.
Gordon once again goes for it, but it's through to Threlkeld, so that option not coming to fruition really. 133 for 6, 30 to win from 20 balls.
Well, 2 in a row. Will she go for the third? That's the question.
I think maybe because Grace Potts won't be expecting her to, or surely she won't do it for a third time.
I was Kirsty Gordon.
Guard.
I'd be putting that shot in the bin, and I'd be looking to win the game in 1s and 2s. She's a smart cricketer, but with that, she has created a change in field, so she probably will put the shot in the bin. Hannah Jones goes out to deep fine, cross comes into the ring.
Feels like the sensible option after 2 dot balls. Potts once again, and a huge heave by Gordon, and Threlkeld misses it, so they will take a run which will go down as a bye, and that's really, there was a kind of ooh across the ground. You can't be conceding that at this stage.
You can't, and Threlkeld is one of the best with the gloves in the competition. Probably top 2-3 keepers in the country, so you don't often see those minor mistakes from Threlkeld.
Sarah Bryce nudges this down the ground. It beats Tara Norris. Another fielding fumble, and that will be 4. That's going to really cost them. Moments like that have really, really damaged what Lancashire could have done. And it feels like that changes the equation quite a bit. If you need 25 from 18, that feels a lot more achievable than perhaps they would have just got a single. And psychologically as well, the Blaze think, oh, well, you know, they're not a great fielding side. We can get a few more runs here. And the more and more mistakes that Lancashire make, the more defeated they feel.
Well, that's 2 errors at crunch time. So a single that was a bye that put Sarah Bryce on strike, and then it was lofted. Norris went in for the catch. It bounced under her, went for 4. All of a sudden they need 25 from 18. That was a wonderful over from Potts. It would have been 30 from 18, which feels completely different. Now they're just a couple of boundaries away. But they're sticking to spin at Lancashire today. You look at the scorecard, Carter has bowled 1 over for 8 runs. It is the spinners that have been slightly more economical. Fee Morris going at 6s. Hannah Jones going at 8s, but it'll be Carter to bowl the 17th over to Gordon. And that's up, and it's over. It's over mid-off. That's another boundary. Gordon joins the party. And just as the game looked like it was in Lancashire's hands, it's creeping away from them. 21 required from 17. Blazer 6 down, 142 for 6. And it's Captain Gordon that hits the boundary.
Lancashire are letting this slip away from themselves. This is classic Kirsty Gordon. Surely they should have been expecting this.
Carter in and worked out into the deep. They cut off the 2 to Lancashire. 143 for 6. 20 to win from 16 balls. 4 wickets in hand. The game is still very much in the mix. Darcy Carter with ball in hand, tossing it between both hands. 4 out in the deep, cover, long on, mid-wicket, square leg. Bryce tapping the bat left high, and scampers onto the back foot. They do run a single to Eve Jones, who's at short 45. 19 from 15. It's when that deficit gap gets shorter and shorter and boundaries become less important. Need a good over here from Carter, who fires that one quicker. And Gordon sweeps that into the deep. They'll come back for 2. It's a good throw from Smale. And it's backed up by Hannah Jones. It fires through. All of a sudden, the game is in the Blazes' hands. 17 to win from 14 deliveries. Carter with ball in hand. Into Gordon. Gordon advances down, chips that up, and it's dropped by Cross. Full stretch dive, and it just bounces underneath her. She went for the catch. She went for the wicket. That'll be another boundary for Blaze as they bring up the 150. It now brings it down to run a ball equation.
Yeah, I think, honestly, I think Cross did kind of the best she could in that situation. I think going for the catch was the right option, and regardless, you know, she didn't. I don't think she would have stopped the boundary anyway.
Carter in, and that standing sweep once again from Gordon. They'll just take the single, and the game has all of a sudden gone into the Blazes' hands. They require 12 from the last 2 overs. The equation previous to this was 25 off 3, so it's been a big over for them. 13 off it.
Yeah, and from this stage till the end of the first innings, so at this point, Lancashire 129 for 5. They finished the innings 162 for 5. So these last 2 innings were huge for Lancashire. And realistically, the Blaze just need a run of ball. They can afford to have a couple of dot balls. They can just run easy singles. It's a much simpler job for them as Kate Cross is running in for the final over. That's been whipped into the leg side. And as mentioned, just happy to take the single. That's all they need at this point. I'm sure they'll want to get it wrapped up before the final ball, but they've got plenty of time. Slapped down the ground once again by Bryce. Slight fumble by Tara Norris in the field. Kate Cross yet to pick up a wicket, and there's 4 balls remaining of her spell today. 10 from 10. Kirsty Gordon on strike, and she digs that one out, angles a bat. They're going to run a really quick single. Keeps the equation at run a ball, 9 from 9.
Yeah, you can feel it's gone flat, both from the crowd, the energy, and the players' body language on the pitch. Potential run-out opportunity there, but Jones staying very flat-footed at short third. They do manage to get another single.
Sarah Bryce whips this away, and this will be the difference. It will be 4. There's a pump of the fist by Kirsty Gordon, who knows that this has made things even easier. 5 required from 8 balls. They want to go into that final over with little to do.
Yeah, it's a great shot by Bryce. And this is what they need know how to do to Blaze, dig deep.
Huge swing, it's through to Threlkeld. Dot balls are precious, so they'll take it. 5 required from 7.
They're precious, and if you can get a wicket with this ball, changes everything again. It's not over till it's over. 5 from 7 required.
Sarah Bryce swings across her body. They'll get 1, which is all they need. And that's the end of the penultimate over. So 19 overs gone, 1 over remains, 159 for 6. The Blaze require 4 to win from the final over, with Kirsty Gordon 20 from 18 and Sarah Bryce 32 from 21.
Yeah, they've put themselves well and truly in the driving seat of the Blaze. Kirsty Gordon doing what she does best, digging deep in pressure situations. She's 20 off 18 deliveries. Sarah Bryce, 32 from 21. Both of these players not available for the next few games for Blaze as they're going off for Scottish international duties. But when the Blaze backs are up against the wall, they're in a momentum within this tournament, within the Metro Bank Cup, and that's why they're such a difficult team to beat. When they're 6 down, they still look and find ways to get themselves into winning positions. And you can tell and feel with Lancashire, they haven't won many games this season because they've got themselves into a winning position and let that slip, and that's what happens when you're in habits of losing. But they've got to believe here. 4 to win. They've got a deep point to Bryce, which I probably would have liked to have seen earlier. Deep square, deep mid-wicket. And they're going to keep a mid-wicket in the ring, I think, so that they can try and contain here. No fine leg. Threlkeld goes back to Potts. And Potts will bowl her final over of her spell and the final over of the day as she's into Bryce, and that goes straight through, and it's an edge. Caught behind. It's what they needed. The big wicket of Bryce. It gives Lancashire a glimmer of hope. 4 required from the remaining 5 balls. The new batter will be on strike. You couldn't ask for anything better there, Polly, for Lancashire.
That was the perfect scenario for Lancashire coming into this final over with an impossible task at hand, but Grace Potts strikes imminently. And I mean, there were very muted celebrations from Grace Potts because she knows the job really is not done, and that's precisely what she needed to do, but she's got to do more. She's taken 2 wickets so far today. Yeah, she's bowled really nicely as Potts. She got taken down a little bit by Beaumont in a second over, but when it's mattered right now, she's stood up. And all senior players from Lancashire congregate to look at what to do to Lucy Hyam. 4 runs required off 5 balls. I would have thought they'll move Carter round here. She has got a nice little scoop as Hyam and plays really, really well behind the bat. She sees that area vacant, which it is right now. I think she'll go to it almost instantly. Third is back. Threlkeld does move Carter round to fine. There are 2 boundary options, a third and fine Hyam. Deep square, everyone else is in the ring, creating pressure. Nice and tight mid-wicket and extra. Silence from the crowd. Potts into Hyam. That's worked over mid-wicket. Smale will run round. Will it race all the way? It won't. They'll come back for 2. It's a big cheer from the Notts fans and the Blaze fans. 2 required from 4. Just went up and over mid-wicket there. 2 runs to win. When Lucy Hyam came to the crease, all I did think about was that boundary. That was the boundary, but it was given 2. And now 2 runs to win from the final 4 balls. There's a big kind of conference between the Lancashire players adjusting the field, bringing in Seren Smale off the boundary. Yeah, she's just coming 15 yards off the rope is Smale. She's in that in-between land, but Hyam likes to chip the ball. I don't think she's one to clear the rope, so it's a catching position. Fielders are all tight. 2 required from 4 balls. Potts striding in. Hyam works that through the leg side, and they'll come back for the second, and they'll come back for the victory. And that is the Blazes game. They win with 3 balls remaining. A wonderful game of cricket. It was Lancashire's to win at one point,
but the Blaze dug deep in the final 4 overs. They showed their grit, their determination, and that they're a team that are winning games of cricket at the moment.
Yeah, the Blaze just had that extra edge. They were poor fielding, mistakes by Lancashire. The batting on the whole wasn't actually great from Lancashire. I think it's probably been slightly overshadowed by the absolutely outstanding Meg Lanning, 81 from 49, and the partnership, the 100-run partnership even, that she had with Elsa Lister, who finished 39 from 28. But overall their batting wasn't the strongest, probably a little bit below par. And the thing about the Blaze is they are such a good chasing side. As soon as they won the toss and opted to bowl, I thought, okay, Kirsty Gordon's got a plan. She knows what the team are really good at. And Tammy Beaumont came out absolutely firing. It was such a destructive innings, 54 from 29. And even when Darcy Carter got her out, the damage was already done. And she'd made such a dent at the top of the order that other batters could come in and play a little bit more relaxed. They didn't have to whack it all over the park. And that's what Sarah Bryce and Kirsty Gordon managed to do. They scored a couple of boundaries which really relieved the pressure and made it the last couple of overs quite simple for them in the end. And despite that wicket in the final over from Grace Potts, it just wasn't enough, and you kind of sense that going into the final 2 overs. So congratulations to the Blaze, who are now 2 from 2, and Lancashire is still searching for their first win in the T20 Vitality Blast.
They are indeed. So the Blaze win this fixture, chasing down Lancashire's 162. So looking down the scorecard, we had Lanning playing a wonderful knock. She scored 81 off 49 deliveries, and in partnership with Elsa Lister, 39 from 28. The two of them put on that 100 partnership. The Blaze, however, chased that down brilliantly. 163 they chased down. There was a destructive opening knot from Tammy Beaumont, 54 from 29 deliveries. But it was the 2 players at the end there. Kirsty Gordon not out, 20 from 18. Hyam coming in and doing the damage, 4 from her 2 deliveries, and a wonderful partnership as well with Bryce and Gordon. So Blaze win that game. Lancashire will be thoroughly disappointed because they got themselves into a winning position there. Scott Reed, I'm joined with you. What are your final thoughts of the day?
Yes, that was deeply disappointing for Thunder, isn't it? But it's been a very good game of T20 cricket. I thought the Blazers' run chase was really impressive, wasn't it? Very calm way to get over the finishing line, even though Fee Morris did her bit, and Grace Potts likewise, with 5 wickets between them in the end. The Blaze make it 2 wins from 2, and Thunder have a bit of work to do. 2 defeats from 2.
They do indeed, and it felt like when they got to those pressure points, the team just seemed to crumble a little bit. We saw 4 missed fields in the last 5 overs, which cost them 12 runs. The Blaze, however, when the back was up against the wall, they found a way to fight through. And often when you're winning games of cricket and you're in that momentum, which Lancashire were in last year, you find ways to win games of cricket. But Lancashire at the moment are finding ways to lose games of cricket. So they'll be really, really thoroughly disappointed with that, will Lancashire Thunder, because they got themselves in a place to beat one of the best teams in the league.
Indeed. Thank you, Phoebe. Thanks to Polly and to Dave Brace-Girdle as well. We have a second game coming up in a couple of hours' time. Your next Thunder action here on Lancs TV will be this coming Friday as Lancashire Thunder take on Somerset. 2:30 start live from Emirates Old Trafford. The next Thunder game live here on Lancs TV, and that also will be on the BBC Sport website and app as well. From 4 o'clock today, we'll bring you coverage of the men's match, Lancashire Lightning against the Notts Outlaws. That's on the way from 4. We'll take a break for now. Thank you for your company. We'll catch you in a couple of hours.